it can cause you some problems.
Interesting to see where Mullen goes, whether it's Bailey, Lockie Neal, who's been unbelievable, or McCluggage as it went last year. If Mullen stands beside you, Jack, what's your aim tonight?
Well, I think you make a 2v1. So if he goes to Neal, I'd be surprised if Lockie Neal didn't try and go to Bailey Smith or someone of ilk in the Geelong midfield as well. They're very smart. So this is not new, and it's not new in a lot of these matchups as well. These sides have played so much over the last 3 to 4 years that these are sort of second, third, fourth bouts, one-on-one, and also obviously playing each other. So I'd be surprised if he didn't try and make a 2v1 on O'Shea Mullen, which will challenge him.
Tails is the call.
I think clearances are so important tonight. I mean, Brisbane is so clean, best in the competition at taking the ball from inside traffic to outside. And either team on the outside are going to do some damage. Quality everywhere, class targets forward of the ball. So, to me, it's a battle of whether Geelong can keep them inside the traffic and force turnover immediately at the source, or whether Brisbane can exit via their elite handball game that we see Neil and the Ashcroft brothers bring. So that's the challenge for me.
A relatively inexperienced ruck lineup with Mitch Edwards coming in for his 8th game.
Yeah, this is why they went and got Sam Draper. I mean, for these type of games here. He's a very good ruckman, and he's had a massive impact on the centre bounce, especially for the Lions.
Yeah, over the last 6 weeks, Brisbane hold 3 of the top 4 combinations. I mean, he's just been a weapon in there, and any form of hit to advantage to this trio at ground level, and it's normally Neil, Dunkley and Ashcroft, or it is the majority of the time. You can see Bailey going in there to start the game, so something different.
Mullen's in the middle, keeping an eye for where he stands, but we're all set. 4v5. The reigning premiers up against the beaten grand finalists. Lockie Neal has Mullen for company, and here's Matt Hill to get things underway. Thursday night footy on Fox.
45 years since the grand final rematch has been staged in round number 10. What are we going to see this year? Edwards wins the first tap. Neal had it for a moment. Holmes with a possession for the Cats. Out to Dempsey by hand further afield. Holmes, who's played well so far this year. Dempsey racking them up early. Mullen runs inside 50. He evades the tackle. Is it a big start for the Cats? It's a behind.
Well, there's that handball game that we spoke about, that we saw last week from Geelong, over 600 metres gained of handball. But you can see there, they can blast away, but they wanted to handball through that forward 50.
Coleman, long ball to the outer side. Stewart, Draper. And pass flicks out the back. Lions in control, sending it down the outer wing. But there he is. Take that immediately. Defensive mark in the form of Guthrie. And the Cats have got the switch on.
So Cameron kicks it wider over their heads. Close. In a foot race with Tunstall. Late inclusion. Scooped it off the floor. And did it well. Fletcher's kick. Just a little bit hot for Will Ashcroft, but he gathers well. Fletcher back inboard Wilmot. Centred the right of screen as yet. As Wilmot backtracks. Leicester floats it out wide. Comes inside the arc and then heads in the Draper direction, or goal direction, then Morris with the left boot. It's all happening. Deflects off the point post in the end.
Wow, he can kick it out on the full from there.
Some dig working it out of defence. As Sullivan runs onto it. Now the hands to Atkins, meshes the ball down the line to Close. Got the runner inside. He ignores Dempsey, goes it alone. Punches it inside 50. Forward up against his old side. Gardner in there as well. Hard at ground level.
Yeah, and you can see Tunstall's got the big job on Dempsey.
Hey, Shannon. Hey, mate.
Played him a couple of times already, has Ollie.
Edwards v Draper. Edwards got a fingertip to it. Coleman tried to hack it out. Manor wrapped up by Wilmot. Ball up again.
Cameron pushing right up the field, through the wing, through to half-back, and now finding his way back inside 50. Gardner the matchup.
Edwards deflects off the hands of Draper. Manor over the top. Neal foraging for it. Holmes, quick work. Mullen close. Shot at goal for the Cats. A I reckon it's the first goal. Brad Close with the first 6-pointer of the grand final rematch.
Well, it's rained all day here in Brisbane. It's tricky conditions at ground level there, but some really clean ball use.
Manor
This
again.
stoppage here. Sean Manor, who's found himself in some really good form there. You can see that little push there and trap. Excellent work. Max Holmes clean. O'Sheen Mullen getting off Lockie Neal, which we know he's really good at tagging, but also he's been excellent offensively for Geelong there. And a great finish by Brad Close.
As soon as that ball gets to the outside for both parties, you're going to see maximum damage. Such is the quality out there tonight. So Close just gets a metre. Small error from the back six of the Lions, and you pay a big price. Great start, Cats.
6th goal for the season for Close. Edwards does well in the ruck contest. As far as Dunkley to the hard-running Wilmot. Looping hand past Lohman. Nice transition back to Wilmot. Wants someone to come towards him. Sends it way out wide. Diving mark. Not able to be reeled in by Connor O'Sullivan.
Rich, Sam.
Geelong have won one of their last 5 here at the Gabba. Hasn't been the happiest of hunting grounds, but they've had their last 4 victories been over 4. .46 or more. It was Draper, Gabba and Draper. They wrestled. Draper almost caught it out. Mullen flicked it out. It was just a little bit too hot for Guthrie. Mullen gathers. Smith. Down the line he goes towards Neal, but it evades him. Leicester with some fleet foot to Levi Ashcroft, and that's a wide kick on the outer side. That's going to get lassoed back to the Cats.
Already seen Geelong been able to take it coast to coast a couple of times here, challenging this Brisbane defence.
Guthrie down the outer wing. Position Leicester. Fletcher. Chain of hand pass comes back to Gardner, who sends a high ball to the half-forward line. Tom Stewart just works his way, and there's intercept number 1 for the night for him, Kingy.
Yeah, big job, Lohman. He'll be looking for the goals, but you've got to worry about Stewart.
Martin out to De Koning, who can go for a bit of a lope along the wing. He was hoping for Close, but he pulled the kick. James Tunstall in the way.
Couldn't split there, Tunstall. They as Geelong, but both sort of led into the same spot, making an easy turnover.
Close with the only goal so far this evening. De Koning battles in the air with Cody Curtin.
He's getting some space, Ollie Dempsey.
Such a hard runner, Dempsey. Unloads, high ball inside 50. Cameron slightly out of position. The body work. Bruce Revere will make sure everything is under control.
Plays on immediately to Levi Ashcroft. Inboard to Fletcher. Fletcher pops it outside defensive 50, but the kick wasn't convincing at all. Grabbed by Humphreys to Martin, who fumbles, but to his own advantage. He eventually was grabbed by Leicester. Ball in dispute on the outer side. Morris flicks it over the top. Rayner with some space is always dangerous, and just driving into goal is Cody Curtin for his first ever goal. And what a match to do it in.
Well, it was a big fumble from Jack Martin at half-back, and such is the power of the Lions once they get that ball moving. Just have a look at this fumble, turnover, squirt kick forward, and just watch the reaction of the Lions. They just explode from here. Rayner, follow-up work, just pinches 3 metres on his opponents, and it's game over. Out the back and gone. We're going to see a cracker tonight. Slingshot footy from both ends.
Great tackle there from Leicester. Good finish as well. I think one of the tactical moves, and coming into this, there is the tactical battle. We know that Chris Scott looks and analyses every matchup, but he's actually slid Jack Henry forward for the Cats as well. So we know he likes to try things during the season that potentially could come up later on in the season. So Jack Henry playing forward at the moment.
So 3 tools, Neil Cameron, Henry forward. Well done to Kurt.
Coming that way, guys.
Dangerfield and Dunkley. Nice battle in the middle. Ashcroft thought about Dunkley. McCluggage had no room to operate. Just shin forward. Bailey Smith runs onto the football. Guthrie pokes it forward. Nicely gathered by Edwards. Decent old shove and no one's getting clear.
The sense from that Leicester tackle, and there's sort of 30 seconds that have followed that with that centre bounce. The pressure's lifted for Brisbane there. Trying to press in hard. Great contest between Bailey Smith and Zach Bailey.
Fort won it down. On hands and knees, Tunstall. Edwards tries the soccer kick. Will Ashcroft picks it up. Smith grabs him and a ball up.
So this is interesting. So Harris Andrews he doesn't really want to be tagged by Henry, so he's trying to get to Neil. Neil's taking him really high, far from goal.
Bruin with the crumb, scooped it to Dangerfield. Kick off the ground. Cut off by Coleman. Dangerfield and his finger trap there. And now coming through is Atkins. Sprays it out to Bruin. Bruin has time to wheel and go round the corner. It's a high sky ball. Try marking this. Pack charges in. Andrews, McCluggage exits D50 with the Cats with numbers. 2-on-1. Smith's going to send it back from where it came. Neil couldn't quite complete the mark. McCluggage v Dempsey hard up again. They get it back.
Playing on in the jumper designed by his sister, Lawson Humphries. Sends it deep to the square. Cameron front position. And you get a free.
And again, they go quickly. Cameron's taking Gardner deep. And they're trying to get Andrews out of the way.
Score review. Umpire's call is touched, one behind. Please confirm.
Review underway.
Regardless if it's touched or not, it's a great effort to work the mark. I mean, he's given everything there. He's given himself every opportunity, Gardner, to touch that ball.
I think there's a little flicker there. Players are setting up like it's a kick out.
Hard to tell with the angles presented.
I think the soft call was touched anyway.
Yeah.
So you'd have to overturn the goal. I'm not sure you can do that.
Review complete. Looking at this angle, we can see the ball deviates after making contact with the Brisbane defender. Decision on scoreboards.
It's a great effort from Darcy Gardner, and that's what he builds his game around. He's just desperate acts like that.
Coleman leaves the square. Long ball back into the middle of the Gabba. Kenner at the back. Dunkley. And Tunstall working around. Will Ashcroft. Straight down the throat of the Cats, though. And this man, Stewart, who's going to be so important tonight.
Yeah, he's just running his own race out there. He's off Loman at the moment.
Dangerfield gets around Dunkley. Drops it inside 50. Good position, Henry. Hands and knees.
Even that kick there from Patrick Dangerfield. I mean, Andrews setting up to take the intercept. Jeremy Cameron wants the goggles on. Might have been touched, but the kick there from Dangerfield goes away from Andrews where Henry's pointing.
So Neil in the ruck, patted it down. Manor on hands and knees.
Reminded me of our man Matt Hill, who dashed off from the airport, realising he left the binoculars in the car, raced out to security, got back just in time tonight.
Indeed.
High contact, Geelong.
Can't work without the old Carl's ice.
Well, he's just been so aggressive hunting the football, has Sean Manor, at the first 10 minutes of this game. Terrific to watch. Just charging in low off stoppage and just challenging you to get everything correct in terms of your tackle work. Great start.
Decent numbers, the goal kicking list as well for the Cats with 13 this year round the corner, and he adds to that tally. Good start from the Cats.
Well, Kingy put it on the agenda. Clearance was going to be king. Who could get on top? We thought the Draper might be the man in the centre of the ground, but it's proving at the moment to be the forward 50. This is the second goal from forward 50 for Geelong already, and we're only 6 minutes into this first quarter. You can see the free kick given away there. Sean Manor, who's been in great form of recent. Overzealous there from Hugh McCluggage. But those small forwards are so good at drawing those free kick and executing as well. Manor's a critical player and how Geelong go. That half forward line with Brian Myers and Sean Manor and Blake Close. Well, Close and Manor have had an impact already.
It's almost like they're setting up for Manor at forward 50 stoppages to be the one burrowing in. Great start, Cats.
Cluggage throws a boot on it. Stewart arrives late. Already had support there in Dempsey. Real wobbling ball forward. Neil tapped it out to the back. Wilmot was there. Now Fletcher hasn't missed since debut. Too much on the hand pass. Blitzarves comes back the other way. Myers steps through a bit of traffic back to Blitzarves. Looping hand pass out to Henry. Spirals the ball in. It's not an easy one, but Gardner took the mark as he was falling to his knees.
This is where they'll miss Zorka. Just buzzing around the back, challenging corridor. Become a little bit straight line here to Lions.
Roman caught at the back that time. Blitzarves in the front spot. Gives ground.
If Chris Fagan could get to him right now, he would say, come on boys, you're boring me. Challenge the corridor. Get our game going.
To Coney, to Guthrie.
Sense their defence is off a little bit here. Only 5 or 10%, but the Cats will make you pay.
Long searching ball, up they go. No mark at the fall of the football. Levi Ashcroft has Smith there for company, and it's up against the boundary. It's still in play. Might help the Cats. Smith just tunnel balls it, and then that's off the body of Wilmot. And a Geelong ball.
Fortuitous there. I think it came off the foot of Darcy Wilmot out on the full. Sean Manor in the right spot.
It's a case of making your own luck on that occasion. So Sean Manor going for his second already. After rain earlier in the night, pretty still conditions for goal kicking. But this isn't an easy assignment. Outside the field of play, it's going to sit up in the square, and the big diffuse from the fort.
It's a disappointing spot to put the ball, really, in the end. I mean, it's a low percentage shot goal.
Bailey good enough to get away from the tackle of Manor. Runs away from him. Wobbly kick. We've seen a few rough efforts by foot already. Slippery conditions after rain this afternoon. Bruin ducked across the line. Didn't really enjoy the work that he got from Levi Ashcroft.
Well, they need a lift from their gun mids. You look at that midfield of the Brisbane Lions, they've been pants at the moment. 7 clearances to 1. So they've got to get busy. They've got to start hunting.
One down to Will Ashcroft with so much speed. Into the middle, the big fly. No mark from Morris. The fall of the football. Bailey deflects back to Holmes. Gives the Cats a chance. Dangerfield in space. Just in 2 minds. Goes back to Smith. Spreads it back out to Holmes. A kick and a half from home. Long raking one. Dempsey caught at the back. Lets it fall to the front. And then Gardner just hoiks it out to Loman against 2 Cats.
Fortuitous, but some good stuff already tonight. Gardner. It's a piercing ball. Bailey, he's got options galore. Draper, who does enjoy a goal.
Charging forward, Sam Draper. See there was Fortuitous that fell in for the hands of Loman. But this is what you want, Kingy. This is where you rip it through the middle. And Draper came off the bench and just charged forward. Going the snap around the corner, which has become the conventional shot on goal for Sam Draper.
5 goals for the season. And the big fella, not quite enough on it.
I believe it's a behind. Can we just check that the mark was completed after it had been touched and then crossed the scoreline?
Score review. Umpire's call is behind. Please confirm.
Review underway. Review complete. Looking at this angle, we can see the ball crosses the back of the goal line and is not completed a mark. Decision on scoreboards.
All clear, Sam. You got all set?
They do some different things, Ruckman, don't they?
Humphreys. Full penetration on the kick. Henry flew. There was no one to fly on. Over the head. Andrews took it over.
Didn't get a lot of support from Matty there.
I think the other big worry for Brisbane, we wondered who O'Shea Mullen was going to go to. It's Lockie Neal. Hasn't touched the ball yet, Lockie Neal.
I thought you summed it up perfectly, King.
Chance now for Neil, goes back as far as Smith. Quick hand pass through the hands of Marshall, back in for his first game since the premiership. Levi Ashcroft to Loman. Sport comes behind Bailey. Dangerous inside 50. Stewart did well just to stop him. Now precise on the outer side.
Manor. Humphreys runs on by along the wing. Kick towards attacking 50. Working his way through beautifully. Force. And a little bit of a dance around as well. A sky ball gives his teammate half a chance in Rayner. And then Bailey tried to tap it to Rayner. Tackled by Loman. Is that holding the football on DeConing? No, said the umpire and the Gabba crowd not happy.
Well, Chris Fagan, he wanted holding the ball, but I don't mind the matchup of Zach Bailey playing down back on Stewart. I reckon he's the one with a smart player who can draw the ball. That's the sort of player you want playing on Stewart.
Ford blitzes. Ford wins that particular contest. Spun back round the corner. Henry, who started the game forward. Manner's been really effective for the Cats. Dangerfield in good position. Brings it to ground. He's going to get a free, where the Wilmot went high when he tried to ride him into the ground.
Well, it's a huge win. Henry, who hasn't played forward for 4 years, he takes a mark and keeps the play in flow, and they get a matchup that they're looking to enjoy. Dangerfield out of the square on Bruce. Doesn't quite complete the mark, but gee, they look dangerous for the ball, the Cats right now. Harris Andrews been taken away from where he likes to hunt. Corridor north of 30 from goal. Hasn't been there yet.
Game 3-6-6 for the champ. 372 goals. Directly in front. Cats have got a couple in a row.
Well, it's compounding now. Got the clearances at 8-3, but also the inside 50 count is off the chart at the moment for the Cats, and it's been so clean. You can see Henry's the one, his handball game getting up and going, and Sean Manner's been involved in everything so far. Patrick Dangerfield takes that 9 times out of 10, but the tackle from Darcy Wilmot goes high. But that number, 13v5 inside 50s.
I think this is all about positioning Harris Andrews. Look at him there. He's really high. He's in front of Henry on Shannon Neal. He's almost 20 metres from that stoppage. He wants to be here where this ball lands. So tactically, they're getting exactly what they want. Whoever gets Harris Andrews takes him high, unless it's Jack Henry. You're doing a tagging role.
Patrick Dangerfield's 11th year as a Cat this year. In the middle, Blitzar trying to crash his way through.
Here we go, Sam. Mark, coming that way.
Entertaining start at the Gabba. Grand final rematch. Blitzarves and then Wilmot replied in kind. Grabbed by Atkins. Out to O'Connor. Now Myers. Little chip is a good one. It's a dart in the end. Manner's been really busy in this first quarter. Kickers wide. Dangerfield's in that direction, but cut off easily by Gardner.
Nothing short on lateral. Forced to kick right down the line. Rayner flew. Wilson Humphreys clean at ground level. Bruin back by hand. Manner racking up possessions early, only as far as Neal. Now Bailey chipping ball forward. Set number 3 for Tom Stewart.
And you just see at the bottom of the screen there, Loman. He come off him 25 metres, then Stewart. No regard.
Neal came loping up the ground and then pelts it forward. Dangerfield waited at the back. Good fist though, and out of play.
And that's the difference. if you allow Harris Andrews to play his game, 0 to 30 metres out from goal in the corridor like that, he will diffuse that all day. So Chris Scott looks at the screen. How did that happen? What went wrong? But Stewart's a problem for Brisbane right now across half-back.
Fought narrowly. Mullen trying to extricate it off the floor. Ball just pinballs around in there at the moment. Bruin got it out. Rolls along the ground. Cameron gives Manor half a chance. Then Dangerfield. Some good tackling as well. Reveal for the Lions. Just a kick and hope. Skies it outside. Defensive 50. It's coming back. Smith from 51. Long ball. Long ball. It's a goal. It's an late goal.
What a finish from Bailey Smith. You sense Chris Scott's spoken about forward footy from Geelong tonight. It is going helter-skelter. They are trying to knock it on, get it forward. They are turning the ball over. You can just see here, Jeremy Cameron taps it forward, kicks it off the ground, Henry. It is all about putting this Brisbane Lions defence under pressure. Patrick Dangerfield knocks it forward. The ball on the ground has been the big win, and then Brisbane have just been blasting it out of their D50 in this turnover game. I mean, Bailey Smith kicks a very, very good goal there, but they are looking so strong behind the ball at the moment. Geelong, their mids and backs setting up the wall.
Not sure I've seen Brisbane look as haphazard with their ball use in the defensive half. And Zorko's a massive out, but let's be honest, they've been relying on him for a decade. Someone else needs to stand up right now.
Dominating at the moment, the Cats. Holmes, Tanner Bruin's got the confidence to take a bounce, delayed the hand pass, kick straight to Wilmot. And pass with a touch here, it makes it tough for Will Ashcroft. Here they come again, the Cats. Holmes shrugs the tackle back towards Cameron. Now Myers, the king of the short ball inside 50. Dempsey elusive, steps one way or the other. Gets it on the boot. Here come the flies. Nearly landed in the hands of Henry. There's a whistle.
Dangerfield just went early with the block, trying to give a teammate a clear run. Let's have a look if they are aggressive enough for corridor.
Gardner indecisive. Goes wing. Floats it out towards the boundary. Easy pickings for Stewart.
Made the mark.
Stewart game 201. Drop punt in the Edwards direction. He couldn't complete the mark. Levi Ashcroft, short one to Draper.
Arm interference.
And he's lucky to get away with it.
Waited for the ball there, Sam Draper. Got he's so careful. Like with Saabs hunting him down. This is the aggressive Geelong defence. They're smelling the turnover here. This is like the qualifying final.
4 intercept marks already for Tom Stewart. Leicester on the overlap is Tunstall, laid in for Zorko. Spills out the back. Myers, Lohman, caught immediately. So he's got the job on Tom Stewart. What are you saying to Kyle Lohman now?
Well, you got to work out what you're doing, when to leave him, when to stay with him, because Tom's just going to where the ball's likely to go. He's playing the percentages. He's trying to get free. He's trying to get separation. Well, right now, Tom's unopposed off the back of stoppage. Not necessarily his responsibility, but you can't let him run around all day by himself.
Ball comes out. Holmes under pressure. And eventually seen over with McKenna's help.
You won't really know who he's on. They'll all roll and match and cover him off the Geelong back six, because their best asset is him free.
5 disposals, 4 intercept marks already for Tom Stewart. Like he did in the qualifying final. Holmes kicks in a big pack of players, works out nicely. Dangerfield couldn't reel it in. Coleman back by hand to the exciting Wilmot with an up and under ball in wet, slippery conditions. Big fly. Again, it's from Stewart. Ground level ball. Stewart dives in after it. Cameron hasn't been sighted so far. Sure, he'll have an impact at some stage. Coming back towards Rayner with strength. Trucks a couple away. And that's the one the Lions needed to steady.
Gee, it was good work, wasn't it? He just stayed in the fight. He just hunted after the ball. Charlie was really good. They just wouldn't allow the Cats to rush it through. You can see Stewart what he was trying to do. He's trying to get it through the points. They're under pressure. And it just didn't fall that way. Just a good re-entry there. Wilmot umpire takes a fraction longer to get a deep entry, and just watch them deny Stewart the easy rush behind or the ability to find a teammate. Here, Charlie, aggressive, knows exactly what's coming, kicks the ball alive, and Rayner does the rest.
It's hard to pick who Stewart's coming off, but at that last stoppage, Rayner was the one that was free inside the stoppage, so he senses he's the one coming up. Geelong will always manipulate it, as King is saying, behind the ball, but if you're Cam Rayner and you're free, you have to make sure you have an impact.
Much needed goal for the Lions after the Cats got 3 in a row. Bruin finds isolation in the middle of the ground. Long ball. Andrews with the big fist and flies.
Free kick.
It's going to be a free kick.
Yeah, he played it really smart, Jeremy Cameron. He backed back into Gardner and said, well, if you want to wrap your arms around me, the umpire's going to see it. It was the slightest of touches, really. Look, he just backs into him, and then he just hasn't really impeded him much. It's a soft one, but well played by Cameron to force the umpire to make a call.
Cameron. Ooh. The Gabba crowd think there's a footy got out there.
I think the free kick was there. It was a bit of a grab with the right bicep, but I see Jeremy Cameron miss many of those. He was hitting them pure in the warm-up.
The runner, Wilmot, took it, dished it, received it back. McKenna's going to have to prop. Stewart runs him down. And it's another possession coming up for Tom Stewart, who's dominating this game.
Yeah, and another missed target coming out of the back half for the Lions. It's just haphazard at the moment.
Wilmot, who didn't hit the target. No Zorko laid out. Managed. Deep ball forward again. Jack Martin had a really good piece of it. Bruce, Lockie Neal with no space to operate tonight. And as far as Atkins, underhand little ball to Humphries. Sends it out wide. Blitz arms on the stretch. Nearly for Mark. And dumped into the ground. Rayner's got a feel for it at the moment.
You can see the aggressiveness of Geelong behind the ball. Blitzarves playing wing, sort of half back, gets forward there. Rayner defending in his own D50. Just throws out Brisbane's forward line structure as well.
Draper worked his way to the front, patted it down in front of himself, then went off the ground. Trapped by Humphries, gives Smith a chance. Similar spot, he kicked the goal earlier. Up they go. Henry couldn't mark. Levi Ashcroft got rid of it. Coleman, hurried kick. It spirals out, and it's going to be coming back.
On the line, Katie. Stand on the line.
Rinse and repeat for the Cats. That pressure again in their forward 50. Even when it's not there, Brisbane are feeling it. It's like a referred pressure.
This is the 18th. Inside 50, and it got there, so it's 17 to 5 on inside 50s at the moment. Lohman trying to engage. Bailey Smith comes back the other way. 6 disposals so far for Bailey.
Cody Curtin with his first goal in AFL earlier in this quarter, and a real 1%er there. Throw in, Blitzarves, Draper. Draper goes himself. Flicked out by Mullen, trying to get it to Smith. Levi Ashcroft has other ideas. Neal, Wilmot, Levi Ashcroft. Just bunts it. Rolling, tumbling ball out of play.
We haven't seen Lockie Neal, have we? He's just had the one kick, 3 little handballs in tight, in close. 2 clearances. Cats lead the clearances 13-5. Needs to get rolling, the little champ.
Takes on the tackler without a great deal of success. The tackle on the way, Will Ashcroft. So a chance for Brisbane to drive the ball forward. Into the pocket, Lohman was caught behind. Rayner, a good patch. And the strength of him don't get through it.
Another aspect that Geelong are dominating, 4 contested marks to 0, so on the ground and the air as well.
Lockie Neal had a fresh airy off the ground. Will Ashcroft's ball crashes around in there. It's not really going anywhere. Another ball up.
Trucks again, 7 mark.
Fascinating start to proceedings. Draper won it down only as far as Smith. Back pedals, but Skies one outside. Defensive 50. Gathered by Close. Jack Henry. Edwards. Close. Holmes. Spreads it further afield. Kick is good here. to Martin. One more thrust for the Cats. Out wide towards Cameron. He was able to gather and then round the corner like champs do. Outstanding.
They had Dempsey all by himself in the goal square. The ball come forward at such pace that the Lions couldn't get organised behind the footy. Just a great chain of handballs. Henry's looked really good forward of the ball. His positioning's been great. His contest has been strong. And there it is. We've been talking about what are Geelong doing that's different. Bang, bang, bang. 4 quick handballs, and then they're out everywhere. Cameron's probably the best snapper in the competition around the body. He gets great purchase and curl on this. And you can just see Dempsey in the goal square all alone. This is some sort of start from the Cats. Not sure I've seen Brisbane kick the ball as poorly as what they've done tonight. They just need quarter time in a hurry. The coach will be itching to get to them, seething on that last opportunity there.
4 of the last 5 goals in the match. The way the Cats are out to a 22-point
This
margin.
is score review. The score is confirmed. You can restart play.
All clear, ready to go. Draper Edwards probably got over the top of him. Pluggage. End over end ball forward. McKenna tapped it in a similar direction. Time will beat the Lions. Fantastic start from the Cats. Bailey's had 7. Tom Stewart's had 6 with 4 intercept marks. Close, Manor, Dangerfield, Smith, Cameron with Curtin and Rayner on the board. Quarter time here though, brilliant start by the visitors. They've lost 4 of their last 5 here, but they've started this well. They lead by 22 points tomorrow night. The big games keep coming. Collingwood head up to take on the ladder leaders, the Swans. That's only 1 of 2 though. And the Gold Coast Suns, who have been almost unbeatable up north, they take on Port Adelaide. Both games coming your way tomorrow night on Fox. The Cats lead it quarter time here by 22 points.
You're watching Thursday Night Footy on Fox. Brought to you.
All right, folks, here we go. Quarter time up here at the Gabba. And, of course, it's the Cats 5-5-35, leading the Lions 2-1-13. Wow, 22 points to margin here at quarter time. You know what? I'm thinking the Brisbane Lions will be actually reasonably happy, only being 22 points behind the Cats. The Cats, well, it felt like the Cats dominated that quarter. Both teams had reasonably good run, but I tell you what, Geelong transitioning the ball really well, and their defence is holding up really well, Geelong. Seems to me, Tom Stewart, he's having a cracking game. Bailey Smith for the Cats. Good old Sam Draper, I tell you what, when you kick a goal from 20 metres out, don't go the check side, just go the normal drop punt, falling short on that one, resulting in a behind there for the Brisbane Lions. The Cats, though, they do look a little bit more dangerous, going in forward with the targets. They're finding empty space. Tell you what, the Brisbane Lions, though, they're pretty lucky. They're only 22 points down, with Geelong dropping 3 sitters from about 25 metres out, which could have resulted in 3 more goals for the Cats. But I'll tell you what, the Lions have certainly got their work cut out tonight against this Cats team, who look absolutely on song tonight. Addy G, Taddy, how you doing? Well, welcome in. Oliver, how you doing, Ryan? Tell you what, cracking game. We're going to have a look at some of the goal scorers up until quarter time. Of course, no multiples. All single goal scorers out on the ground so far. And, of course, for the Cats, Bailey Smith, I tell you what, Bailey Smith was an absolute ring-a-ding-ding goal. He kicked it from 51 metres out on the boundary. I'll tell you what, on the probably on the wrong side, and it went straight through the centre. Absolutely fantastic. The Cats want redemption. But both coaches said, you know what, we're not really taking much out of last year's grand final. I think they met last year grand final. This is all about the here and the now and how the teams are performing. I think Geelong certainly coming into this game with the better form. Of course, Brisbane just beating some of the lesser sides. Geelong beating some of the better sides and in superior fashion. Bailey Smith has a single there for the Cats with Manor, Dangerfield, Brad Close and Jeremy Cameron. What a cracking goal he kicked. I tell you what, he kicked it from the left. He was about 35 out. He fell on his back and straight through it went. Tell you what, he's a star. You just imagine how he would be if he was in the Magpies team, Addy, or in the Freo team. That's what every team would want, a Jeremy Cameron. For the Brisbane Lions, Cam Rayner. Tell you what, he's like a bull out there tonight, Cam Rayner. His mission on, I tell you what, he's got some of his angry pills. I tell you what, don't get in his way tonight, folks. Cam Rayner, he's slotted one there for the Brisbane Lions. Cody Curtin, he's also got one. Of course, it's only the 2 goal scorers there for the Brisbane Lions. There we go. Let's have a look at the disposal getters. And of course, there we go. We'll go for Brisbane first. Darcy Wilmot. The 3 players top on the table on 10. Darcy Wilmot and Lee Ashcroft from Brisbane Lions. They've both got 10 disposals. Max Holmes is the best for the Cats on 10, as we would expect. The running machine, he's got 10. 3 and 7, 3 clearances for him. Bailey Smith. Tell you what, he couldn't do much more in that opening term, 9 disposals. 7 kicks, 2 handballs, Taddy. He kicked a goal and had a couple of clearances, and he's looking good. He's looking good. Lawson Humphries on 8. Josh Dunkley, Will Ashcroft both on 8. Tell you what, the Cats are certainly bringing their pressure. Tom Stewart, as I said, 7 disposals already, 4 marks. Few intercepts, 6 kicks and a handball. He's having a cracking game. I wouldn't mind just having a little bit of a look. I tell you what, Paddy Dangerfield actually started off well. He's like a bull out there as well. He's kicked a goal for his 6 disposals, 3 kicks, 3 handballs. So look out, Brisbane. Paddy Dangerfield is on the rise. He's out there to play. Hugh McCluggage was a little bit quiet for the Lions in that opening term, just 4 touches, 3 kicks and a handball. Did have 1 clearance. Let's just quickly roll on down because they're players are just milling, and they're going to take their positions in just a moment. Charlie Brum Cameron, well, he's down there. He's only had 1 disposal, a handball, so he's had no chances just at the moment. I just want to have a quick look at the team stats for everyone. It's pretty close, but the Cats using the ball so much better. They're cleaner, they're more composed. As I said, they're putting the Lions under pressure. The Cats just seem to be playing their brand of football out there this evening, even though there's only 7 disposals. But folks, have a look at the inside forward 50s. Brisbane Lions only managed to go inside forward 50 8 times in that opening term for their 3 scoring shots. The Cats, 23 inside forward 50s for their 10 scoring shots. So they're going pretty well as well. Just the free kicks, well, the Cats have had slightly the better. 6-3 in the free kick count. I wouldn't mind having a look at the clearances and the tackle count defensive way. Cats on top in the clearances, only by 1 out of the centre. It's 3-4 the Cats' way. And of course, stoppage clearances, they're certainly a little bit more dominant there. Of course, Dane Zorko being out for the Brisbane Lions. That's definitely a big hole in the defence down there. Surprisingly enough, Brisbane Lions have had 3 marks inside forward 50. That's strange. I thought Geelong had a few, but it says none. There we go. All right, we're going to head back down there. Just look at the defensive tackles, 15-13. We want those both to rise, but still not too bad. All right, folks, let's head back down to the action where the ball has just been bounced. That's the Cats by 22.
In over the top, and we'll have a secondary ball up.
Seen Jack Henry go forward. Tom Atkins is actually playing half back, so he's sort of hanging around Zach Bailey at the moment as well.
Ford won it down, Cameron off the ground, progresses it to Bailey, flicked it up to Will Ashcroft, he went without it. Stewart went without it as well. It's going to be a free kick to Brisbane. Dunkley has it in the middle.
Gingered is Ashcroft. Reveal on the overflow. Sends it deep forward. Rayner looked dangerous. Bailey always dangerous round the sticks. Round the corner. That's why he's a highly valued player, Zach Bailey. Perfect start for the Lions.
Zach Bailey getting involved early in this second quarter here. It's an excellent little push-off to get back to the front of the contest. Exactly where he needs to do his job. The Flyers will always come with the Coles goal here. You can see Bailey just tracking the ball there. And it's Edwards that's lined up. And if so, a handover has happened. Edwards commits to the contest. And there's just a case of getting around on his right foot. So, I mean, he's got high IQ. Zach Bailey, very smart player, half-forward midfielder. This there, just really good technique to actually push out and come back to where, I mean, 80% of the balls will always go to the front of the contest there. So if you turn up, you're a good chance of getting it.
Quick start for the Lions, back in the middle. Dunkley backpedaling round the corner towards Bailey and Cameron. Cameron working hard. Got it to Will Ashcroft. Sky's a long one. 2-on-2. Rayner at the front. Didn't mark. Morris had it for a moment. Going in hard to Koenig. Spat out to Rayner. Rayner tumbling ball. And Dempsey the last man.
Already the pressure's lifted here from Brisbane. You get a sense maybe it might have been a bit of a sterner word at quarter time from Chris Fagan.
Guthrie to the outer flank. Bruce flew and then elected not to go the big hanger, just punched it across the line. Darcy. Which is disappointing, really.
Can't jump that eye and spoil it.
On 5 of the last 6 clearances, the Brisbane Lions, they've lifted in the middle.
Fort goes himself.
High contact. Brisbane, switch.
Gets a free kick as well for his efforts. Lions lifting early in the second term. That kick left a little bit to be desired. Straight down the throat of Stewart.
Yeah, now someone has to take responsibility for this man. He will do this all night.
In the qualifying final, how they missed him in the granny. Ashcroft to Ashcroft to Cameron. First bit of space he's had. He's got options inboard. Wants to go all by himself. And when you're that good, why wouldn't you high fives to the crowd? Brisbane with a couple to open things up.
He could be the best entertainer in the game, this guy. He's got some challenges. They're coming from everywhere. But Charlie still holds that mantle. When they sing the song the way they do up here, you're hard to knock off. But just have a look at when he decides to kick the goal. He says, righto, it's my responsibility now. There's options everywhere. But he backs himself. I love it. I love it. They need it. Someone to take control. This game was just meandering.
Oh no!
There's been some controversy.
Grabbed by Dunkley. Sprayed out wide by Wilmot to McKenna. Urgently kicks it to a 2-on-1. Draper at the back. Kept it in play. Rayner's hovering. So too is Fort. Fort kept it in. Handball got it to the hot spot. Catch just having to think this through. O'Connor eventually stops the rot with the penetrating kick outside 50. Manor and eventually out.
Darcy.
22-point margin at quarter time. The way the Cats has been whittled back 3 goals to Bailey and Cameron early to a 9-point margin. Nolan standing beside McCluggage at the moment. That's where the ball goes. Fort tries to go off the ground. Bruce. Colt figure up here. Dangerfield stands in the tackle and couldn't get the hand pass away.
This was a good tackle by Josh Dunkley there. Just holding on to Patrick Dangerfield's shorts, then dived to stop the arm from going forward.
Long high one from Dunkley. Morris was in the front spot. Couldn't rake it in. Dempsey wrapped up. All of the action left your screen in this second term so far. Edwards flew. Fort waited and eventually it wrapped up again.
Mitch. Hipwood.
Answorth.
Back in business soon.
Few names there. Dunkley is wrapped up.
The coach speaking last week saying Eric's put on about 8 kilos in the gym, so bigger and stronger when he gets back in business. Fort wobbles it forward. Attacked, back to Atkins, another possession for Stewart. Just hangs it up down the line to Holmes, who set a real task. Dunkley was there to kill the footy.
Mitch! Darcy! Yep. Ashcroft.
Fort down to Will Ashcroft and McCluggage. Will Ashcroft throws it on the boot. Bouncing ball. Smith cleverly. Backed forward by Guthrie. Dangerfield. Little volleyball tap over the top, trying to help Dempsey. Dempsey keeps it in play, but coughed it up to the opposition. Will Ashcroft was grabbed. Holmes throws his teammate under the bus. McCluggage with the tackle. Cats get away with it. Holmes, hurried ball. Going to come back, Wilmot.
Thinks about the aggressive kick. Yeah, goes a big wide switch, opens the door for Blitzarves on Harris Andrews. That's a titanic contest. Blitzarves goes off the ground. Henry's got Lester for company. Back to Blitzarves. Doesn't quite break the tackle. And the Lions have numbers come in.
Not a kick we see a lot in the modern footy. As a free kick happens, that big long switch, 50 metres. Sides are so good at shutting down defence. You can see Blitzarves read the play. Lucky to get away with one there, Brisbane.
Lachie Neale only played 70% of the first quarter, and he's still stuck on the bench. I'll get to Lynch in a moment. His thoughts regarding that.
Humphreys, no mark. Atkins, Blitzarves, hurried ball. Atkins has Henry grabbed by Lester and a throw-in.
Lynchy, why do you think Fags would start Lachie Neale on the bench at the start of the second term?
Yeah, it's an odd one. Maybe he's just trying to shake the tag. He's up on the line now, about to come back into the game. But you're right, just seems to be off his high standards of the last month.
Fort. Atkins providing the pressure and the tackling as he so often does. Did really well, but in the end turn it over to Wilmot, who just spirals the ball down the outer wing, 2-on-1. Tap back to favour O'Sullivan, rangy character, good user of the footy, straight to Mullen.
Mullen by hand. Holmes over clubs it to Myers, sits up for him okay. Gets the kick forwards. Gardner went without it. Manor, Myers, this time lines them up. It's not a bad attempt, cut off by Andrews.
Immediately brings the ball back into play.
Outside 5.
Didn't seem to have the power in the legs there, did he, Ryan? He's on watch tonight.
Missed 4 games with that ACL issue.
Lachie Neale early in this second quarter, but already the Lions have come out strong. 9-2 contested possession, 7 clearances to 0.
Morris sets himself with a big hang. He's got some real spring as a young 2-time premiership player, and Guthrie can't control it.
Goals from Bailey and Cameron for Brisbane in this second term. After it was 22 at quarter time. The lead for the Cats. Fort over his head. Marshall. Fletcher. Coleman. Dances around and then a high one inside 50. Plenty of Cats there to try and take the mark. They get out of it through Guthrie, who pummels it outside defensive 50. Henry now runs off with it. He sees a man in Cameron, sits it up for him. He runs into space. He snaps. Offline this time.
Really got caught out on the hop there. Brisbane's defence up nice and high. It was actually a 2v1. Dry Myers was the free man at ground level. Henry couldn't get it to him in the centre of the ground.
Jack Rewell, David King, Alistair Lynch and Matt Hill. Thursday night footy on Fox had to be precise, and it was to Lester. Back to Fletcher. Pass left a bit to be desired. Ashcroft has to mop up. Coleman. Eventually they work there nicely. McCluggage. Bailey. Morris, who's gone for a few big flies, gets his first look at the sticks.
Yeah, and that's them. That's them. Corridor ball, aggressive play. We talked about the Zorko out tonight, who would take responsibility, and you can just see it there. McCluggage is always involved. Bailey's always involved. Just putting the finishing touches to a brilliant piece off half-back.
Such a damaging player, Bailey. Future uncertain at this stage. This young man, Logan Morris, has already got 2 premierships to his name. This is for career goal number 99 in game 54. The number 13. finishes off the good work for upfield. And Brisbane opened the second term with 3 straight. It's back to a 1-goal game.
Well, it was the issue that was pressing in the first half, or the first quarter, sorry, their inability to come through the middle part of the ground. They had 25 chains, they only got 3 inside 50. But you see Darcy Wilmot here. Without Dane Zorko, a lot goes onto the shoulders of Darcy Wilmot. Fletcher's the other one who's probably had a slow start to this season. So if they can get involved off half-back, being the natural risk takers that they look like they are from a half-back, that's when you can generate plays like this and you can break down any defence. So they've broken down the Geelong defence there. You get a 1v-none with Logan Morris. Sides become quite erratic and press up on the ground when you do come through the middle part of the ground. So Wilmot and Fletcher are the two. Without Zorko out there tonight, it falls on their shoulders from half-back.
Lions go bang, bang, bang in the second term. Neil, Will Ashcroft. Here come the Lions again with a searching ball. De Koning did well. Bailey couldn't quite grab the football. Levi Ashcroft putting pressure over the top. Spills out. Close and Ashcroft. Close and Neil. Neil won the football for them. Out it goes. Curtin. Now McKenna, raking ball top of the square. Geelong going to get a free kick. Bailey goes in, kicks the goal, but it won't count.
50.
Yeah. How you seeing at a ground level, Lynch? It looks like the Lions have lifted in the second term with their intensity.
Yeah, intensity's up, but it's just not quite working for the likes of Lockie Neal. Just see this free kick here. Holding of the arm. And a free kick, but there's certainly their run and spread to support is much better.
Sullivan looks to the near side. Tries to be outsized, does well to get in the front of the contest and got the free kick against Fletcher. Played it really well, did Myers.
Time back on. Tanner. Me. Stand.
Makes Holmes.
Play on. You.
Your 5th disposal. But Max! Big fly! Henry claims it! And why wouldn't he? Genuine big crab. Stood on Neil and waited and held it.
Just to compound Lockie's night.
What a grab that is from Ollie Henry. Can he finish off his good work? Unfortunately not. Deserved a goal, the mark.
Folded Lockie nearly half there.
One for the show reel on a Thursday night.
We've been spoilt with hangers the Thursday night crew.
Leicester hugs the boundary. Swarm of players underneath this one. No mark. Rayner on hands and knees. Levi Ashcroft got rid of it. Bruin. Quick work. Now Martin. 48 metres out. Top of the square. Henry spoiled by Andrews.
There he is, patrolling where he does his best work. Just arrives at the right time, does Harris. They're not getting the same productivity now. Become a little bit blast happy, the Cats in the forward half. This is where the Lions have improved. Starting to connect now, bringing the ball out of the defensive 50.
Cats led by 22 at quarter time. Only 3 goals for the term all the way of the Lions to bring back the 6-point game.
This is what they do. They just probe and they wait for one lazy defender.
Will Ashcroft down the line and has been aggressive all night. We're on a ground level. Nicely gathered. He got her on the 1-2. Lohman provides some pressure. Now Coleman going the way of the Lions at the moment. Draper, look at Cameron go. Humphreys, Cameron, nice battle. Charlie from the pocket. Oh, that is unbelievable, Charlie. So Doug Nichols round. High fives to the crowd for the second time. The man, his bum's on seats. That's why you come to the footy to see some of that.
There it is.
What a finish. Forget the country roads, but what a finish from Charlie Cameron. 2 critical fumbles here from Geelong. It was Tannenborough the first one, missed that handball there. And another one, just those fumbles there, and you can see Brisbane absolutely sweating on him. And a wave of maroon. And then it was just a genuine foot race. I know we've got the Olympics here in 2032. Charlie Cameron, thank you very much And in these tricky conditions, to get it to go like that is absolute skill from the star forward of the Lions.
I reckon he's high-fived that bloke twice already. And a half the footy.
Seat in the house.
4 in a row to the Lions, and we're all square at the Gabba. And now Geelong under some pressure. Pruitt spearing ball, cut off by Gardner. And now Cotman along the wing, going to set it up towards Curtin. Had it spent before he marked it. He's disappointed.
What a challenge now for Chris Scott to try and arrest momentum here. The Lions are so good at it.
It's got to start in the middle. 10-1, the clearance is in the second term in favour of the Lions. Cats need to lift.
Country Road still reverberating around the Gabba with the crowd, the acapella, and then about the third verse. He's got two. Charlie Wilmot. Tough night so far for Lachie Neale. Getting his hands on the footy. And the winding ball forward. Humphrey stands underneath it. Uncontested in the end, bounced off his chest, worked out okay to Tanner Bruin.
Bruin directing traffic in the middle of the grounds.
Has to be.
Little nudge.
Yeah.
On Ollie Henry. And umpire says, come with me.
Yeah. He come at speed, but he had to pull out 2 steps out, took him to ground.
Darcy,
They had players out forward of that mark, so you can see the intensity from Henry to get to his feet and play on quickly, and Gardner just took that from him.
4th year at Geelong for Ollie Henry, was admitted after round 18 of last year. Looking to stay in the team. Big kick to stem the flow. Much needed goal for the Cats.
Well, they needed that one desperately. Just a settler. They looked a little bit rattled with their ball movement coming forward, the Cats, and it was just a beautiful little kick from Bruin, who's worked hard, yet made some mistakes, costly fumble on the last play, which cost the goal at the other end. But that kick there, just something different. Not a 55, 60-metre driving kick long down the line. He just pulled it inboard slightly, 25-metre pass. A bit fortuitous with the 50-metre penalty, but they desperately needed a result and got one.
High-quality game of football. Wilmot and Levi Ashcroft with 11 apiece. Tom Stewart and Bailey Smith with 8 apiece to lead the Cats. Henry with a big grab and a goal for the turn. Draper attempts to grab it out of the ruck. Bad effort. Pinballing around Tanner Bruin. He's gone. Charlie gets him on the third attempt. Cameron, who's kicked a couple, lit up the Gabba. Drops it inside 50. Spoil comes from Stewart on McKenna, who's got that roll. Fletcher somehow got her out. Hurried snap from the pocket. Gee, there's been some goals tonight. This time it's Levi Ashcroft. They're queuing up to kick absolute beauties.
It's something about that pocket over there. I think we've seen 4 crackers already.
Look, not sure how this ball was disposed of in the first place. He had his arm here in the tackle, did close, and then it's just sprung out. It's a good finish though, isn't it? We've seen him do that from that exact position, I reckon 3 times this season. At least a couple. He got one last week from his brother, off stoppage. How did he get rid of that ball, Jack?
No, it was a throw. It was definitely a throw. I got knocked out.
Gee, we've seen some goals tonight. Cameron, Smith, the other Cameron, Ashcroft.
Some beauties, no doubt about that. Draper wins it down to McCluggage. Lions not done with yet another centre clearance. Neale down the throat of Lohman. Lohman directs the man on the mark. He's going to spread it wider. They've got some numbers. He's looking for Cameron. Connor gets in the way. Cameron gathers though. What's he going to do now? Goes left, bit of cat and mouse, and then round the corner he goes. He's hoping for Will Ashcroft. Atkins deflects off his boot towards Smith. Ball still in dispute. Fletcher got it out. Bruin, now Manor. He's had a good first half. Little bunting kick to Dempsey, and the Cats build again.
Streeting forward is Mullen. Just got off. Lockie Neal. Spare hands it over to a man who loves kicking a goal, does it with such skill. But again, Harris Andrews repelled the effort from Dempsey. More comfortable this term, Harris.
Yeah, he is. And he's just not being impacted. I mean, that's where Henry has to be there earlier to check his run. Stop him feeding back to the ball. You're tagging him.
Reville's kick towards McCluggage, spoiled by Blitzars, gets a free kick advantage paid. Curtin to Coleman, streaking through the middle. One-on-one here. Morris, Theo Sullivan, and Morris comes up with a free kick.
Yeah, slick this quarter. The ball movement from the defensive half through the corridor with real aggression. You just get the full forward 50 to work in. There's the grab. Just takes the arm.
Back on.
Umpires all over that in 2026.
Logan, back that way. That's your line now. Stand there.
As Logan Morris sets himself looking for 6 of the last 7 goals, the Lions. And this would be monumental in this young man's career also. He's going for his 100th AFL career goal. Logan Morris, he's achieved so much so far, it's not going to be 100 this time.
Gee, they're all over him, the Lions, aren't they? Their ball movement's back. Their desire at contest has gone through the roof from the quarter-time break. I've got no doubt Chris Fagan had a stern word or two for the mids.
Dangerfield and Coleman.
Absolutely, Kingy. 13-1 clearances.
Yeah.
Dunkley with 4 clearances himself in this quarter. Massive turnaround.
Rucks, Geelong, Mark, Sam.
Mark and Sam in the ruck. Pitzarves and Draper. Mullen still standing beside Lockie Neal, who tries to get off him in the contest. Holmes for the ball. Dempsey, Coleman. Squirts it out to McCluggage, trying to go back the other way. Holmes now with the runners. Dangerfield's got Bailey Smith. Looping hand pass inboard. They're starting to stretch the Brisbane defence. Madden needs to be perfect, and he is, to Shannon Neal, first sighting of him this evening.
And again, that handball chain, they're getting their handball game going. The Cats, it looks slightly different, Jack, to what we've seen in 2025. So this is evolution under Chris Scott.
Combine that with the lowering of the eyes there of Sean Manor.
23 goals for the season 2 years ago, 44 last year to mark the progression already, 20 this season. The big 203-centimetre Neal. Strikes it wonderfully well, silences the crowd. The Cats take the lead again by that kick.
So in the past, you would see them break forward. It was Holmes, I think, that just squirted the handball through. Might have been to Manor. That would normally be a quick release. That kick there would normally go into the advantage of Neal, but that extra handball draws Harris Andrews up the ground. They get exactly what they want, and then the little tick lead back to the ball carrier. It looks easy on replay, but that's just a work of art from congestion.
I think also for Shannon Neal, who has had a relatively slow start and has struggled against the Lions, as we highlighted pre-game. Getting one now is important for him and his confidence there. It's an excellent set shot from outside 50. He's got to make the most when he can shake Harris Andrews and he gets a good matchup like Leicester. That's his opportunity.
Neal, Smith dragged off it, Guthrie, Atkins, Mullen. A little bit indecisive, then slips over at a terrible time. Back towards Stewart, he's grabbed, holding the football cold. McKenna is going to come up with the free kick and play on quickly. Looks further afield, kept it low, Dunkley. Tunstall's absolutely roaring for it in the corridor, ignores.
There's a bullet by McKenna there.
They've been kicking them from this pocket all night.
Oh no.
Well, it's a low percentage shot, so it's not quite a moz.
Josh Dunkley hasn't kicked a goal all year. Oh, and then he's dropped it in the drop of the football. You wouldn't believe it.
I can't be responsible for that.
That's your fault.
He didn't even get into his boot.
He heard you halfway through.
Cats on the transition, very wide for Bailey Smith, and be lassoed back.
Talk about being in two minds. Oh my gosh. I think Dunkley even had a bit of a laugh.
Brilliant from Bruce into the middle. Hit Leicester.
That's 50. That has to be 50.
Don't know why Myers wasn't called. Pumps it deep forward. Morris from behind. This time Dunkley gets boot to ball, but
that's 50 metres. Like Ryan Myers is on the mark. He's almost in the marking contest. And the exact reason we brought this rule in is so you can't do two things. You can't come in to man the mark and then release to guard someone for a handball receive.
I think he knew as well immediately, Brian.
Andrews up the ground, a kick and hope. Morris from a couple of steps behind fell to O'Sullivan, who just pummeled the football. That was a kick and hope, and Wilmot takes it back in the middle. So the Lions pressing here.
Panic's starting to set in a little bit from Geelong.
That wasn't 15. Neil doesn't panic from 58. He launches to the top of the square over their heads. And it's going to be a boundary throw-in.
Sense from the blast kicks that come out there. O'Sullivan, he was the one guilty there.
Clearance game on song. 13-3 this term. Look out.
Draper to the front of the contest, only as far as Stewart. Now Jack Martin. Hand pass to Bailey Smith. Quick hands again. Bruin. One of those big high kicks forward. It'll work out to Henry, though. They're in front of Harris Andrews. Gardner tracks back with Cameron. It's the direction they go in now. It's nicely worked.
Cameron steadies. A measured kick. To the congestion. Plenty of cats there. Dangerfield somehow manufactured a kick and slammed into the point post.
Yeah, just come back around. Stand.
So they've taken 50% of their defensive 50 chains inside 50 at the other end of this term. It's been one of the big shifts.
Cats by 22 at quarter time, 5 goals to 2 the term. For Brisbane, they kicked 4 in a row at one stage. Lohman trying to stop Stewart. Good luck. Stewart just barrels through the contest. Now to Cameron. Important hand in. Draper. Ashcroft.
Morris out the back. They can break this.
Dunkley back to Tunstall. Just overcooked it into the middle. Now Humphries can come back the other way. Piercing ball forward. Finds Neil. He's a massive kick of the foot. He wants to go to Bailey Smith. Good option. Bailey sends it all the way home. Quality player, quality finish. He's got 2, has Bailey Smith. And this is some game of footy.
Well, it was a huge miss back into the corridor from Tunstall. I mean, they were out everywhere forward of the ball. They just needed one more player in the chain from Brisbane Lions' point of view, and he just overshot the kick. Look at him, 4v1 inside forward 50, and you know what's going to happen against a quality team on the way back. Shannon Neal thought his way through this really well. Could have panicked, could have rushed the handball, not quite got it there. When he took that mark, if he rushes this, Harris Andrews diffuses it. So it's a stall, and then get it inboard to Smith was really clever in the end. And he doesn't let us down, Smith. What a finish that was. This is a cracking game. You make a mistake out there tonight, and you stand out like a sore thumb.
Cats have weathered the storm really well. Draper down to Neil, who's being held by Holmes. Less than 90 seconds left on the clock in what's been an intriguing first half. Neil didn't get purchased on the kick at all. Marshall leading the foot race with Atkins, who scooped it forwards. Coleman stole it over the top. Morris off a step towards the top of the square. There's Lions everywhere. Tunstall back with the flight of the ball. He's going to have first access to it here. Then he dropped it. Might be a bit breezy out there. Then McKenna. That's not 15. Fort forced to kick it off a step. Back towards the goal line. Draper couldn't mark. Lohman hemmed in onto the left. Out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, tough conditions. I mean, Lynchy spoke at the start of the night about how slippery it was out there and the challenge that would bring.
Lawson Humphries clears defensive 50. Gardner worked his man Cameron underneath it. Fell to the back to Manor. slippery conditions. Mano, great first term, just misses Cameron. Good enough to make up for it to Close. Kick the opening goal. Brisbane get in the way. It was a throw off the ground. Now Bruce will send it back the other way. Nice little step from Bruce. Looks out towards Morris. Stewart takes the mark, play on, and diffuses it.
Myers to Holmes. Clock ticking now, less than 10 seconds. Bench just willing them to send it inside 50. Rayner takes the mark, and that'll be the end of what's been a gripping first half.
A great comeback there from the Lions, but they let a couple of opportunities slip in late in that second term. Just some skill errors for some players just finding their way in the AFL game. But the problem right now for Chris Fagan is that man right there, Tom Stewart. 10 intercepts and a half of football. He's controlling that back 50. They've been under siege back there. 32 inside 50s to Brisbane, and they've got to find a way to bypass that man. 6 intercept marks. He's been everywhere.
Cats by 22 at quarter time. They kicked the first 4, Brisbane to hit the front, but Cats finished stronger with the last 2 to lead it by 2 goals at the major break in the grand final rematch. Sarah Jones.
Thursday night footy continues to deliver. Howie, the Cats making a great start at the Gabba before Brisbane were able to bounce back and get back in the contest. Jason Dunstall and Lee Montagna, we have an intriguing tactical battle on our hands. The Brisbane Lions don't look as sharp as they often do. Can the Cats do it?
Well, they're doing it well at the moment. It was a big fight back by the Lions in the second quarter. I mean, they got smoked in that first term. Tom Stewart's just got his own footage, doing as he pleases. Kyle Lohman, for whatever reason, just didn't want to compete at different stages. But then Brisbane were able to turn around territory, turn around clearances, which got them back into the game. But again, they're still making mistakes by foot, and that's allowing Geelong to punish them on turnover. Their forward half game, the Cats, has been outstanding.
It's a great game of footy. Terrific game. You knew Brisbane were going to bounce back after that lacklustre and poor opening term. They did that. Got themselves right in the contest. I thought the last 10 minutes, though, Geelong just weathered the storm and got the game back on their terms, but they were up for the fight early, and they're throwing punches for the Brisbane Lions to be able to try and absorb, and they've got some work to do at half-time, Brisbane, but I think this is now game on. I think this will go right to the death, and you can see both teams are up for it.
Back to the champs now. Over to you. What have you got? We're going to have a look at our Harvey Norman highlights now, and a lot of these are dominated by Geelong. Some of their goals and their snaps are from Bailey Smith and also Jeremy Cameron. Sensational stuff, Joey. What have you loved about this guy in particular, one of the Dash brothers?
Oh, the Dash brothers, they've been brilliant. Bailey Smith, he's had a sensational first half. He's had a brilliant year. I think his first couple of weeks he was a bit slow to get going, but he's a marvel. Jeremy Cameron, he's one of the best snappers of all time, and he was brilliant, but they just had so much supply in that first quarter, Geelong. They dominated that forward half game and had so many entries. Brisbane run to the pump, Ollie Henry getting involved as well, and they had plenty of good looks, Geelong, so it was a sensational first quarter by them.
Yeah, the O'Sheen Mullen tag on Lockie Neal worked big time in the first quarter. He virtually didn't touch it, Lockie, and the ball lived in Geelong's forward half, and then whenever Brisbane did get their hands on it, there was pressure, they turned it over. The Cats continually forced those forward half intercepts and just punished them on the scoreboard. And that meant there needed to be a big fight back, and there was in the second term.
They dominated territory, the Cats, in that opening quarter, and then they were able to lock it in there, Joey, and punish them on the scoreboard. We can see their forward half intercepts, the best opening term since way back in 2004.
Yeah, as we said, and it started with clearance. They were able to win the clearance battle to give them that field position. It was a combination, Jason, wasn't it? Brisbane's poor use coming out of the back half, but also Geelong's intent and their game. They are one of the best forward half teams in the competition, Geelong, at being able to lock it in and win the ball back. And we saw that on display. Mark Blitzar's plays such an important role in that as a wingman that rolls behind the ball, which allows Tom Stewart to free up, and their intent was on it. Brisbane had no answers, and it looked like without Dane Zorko, thought, gee, how are they going to move the footy?
Just by foot, by hand, it didn't matter which way they tried to move it. It was just a lack of care with the football, created turnovers, and the Cats pounced on it.
And Zorko not being there for the Lions, does that hurt them in that respect?
It does. I mean, he's the one that basically drives the train, doesn't he? They like the ball to go through his hands. He springboards defence into attack. He loves to push forward through the corridor, takes those aggressive kicks. We saw Tunstall with a typical Zorko-like kick in the second term, but he misses the target. Costs him a goal on the rebound.
And then you've got the Cats, and they like the ball in the hands of the Dash brothers, Joey, for good reason. Almost 700 metres gained between the pair of them at the moment. I think, Max in the opening 2 minutes of the game had about 4 disposals. He is on track for a big night.
Yeah, they both, and then Bailey Smith kicked a couple of incredible goals, and they just continue to do what they've done all season long, racking up big metres gained and having a huge bearing on this contest, as they so often do for Geelong.
Huge contest numbers for the Cats in the opening quarter. They were all over them, but then, as you would expect from one of the dominant midfields in the game, they were able to hit back in that second term, Jace, and with that came the surge of goals.
Yeah, and this is where they've made their name. They're a gun clearance team. They dominate from stoppage. They score from stoppage. Didn't happen in the first term, but all of a sudden, a star-started midfield started to get going, Joey.
And this is what I love about Chris Fagan. He just backed his group in at quarter time. He didn't make drastic changes. They didn't go and tag Tom Stewart or mix it up too much. He just trusted them to get the work. And it started off the back of their pressure and clearance game. And they absolutely dominated, particularly in the first 15 minutes of that second quarter, which gave their forwards an opportunity to get back into play. And led by Josh Dunkley and the Ashcrofts, they were able to take control through the middle of the ground.
Charlie Cameron on screen there. He was really quiet in the opening term, but the second quarter bounced back, the third highest rated quarter of his career. A couple of goals and the Country Roads was playing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, most of the forwards in the first quarter weren't side because the ball wasn't down there, but once they started getting more ball in their forward 50, it was Zach Bailey who started with that great crumbing goal, Charlie Cameron as well getting involved. They've just got so many match winners in this team. We've spoken about it for so many years that, they only need some small moments to be able to impact the game. And, Rain has had some moments as well, but Charlie Cameron's second quarter got the crowd up and about, and he got them back in the contest, absolutely.
He's a veteran, Charlie Cameron, but he's still got his speed. That's what allows him to continue to have this impact.
Super quick indeed. Let's head to ground level now, where Alastair Lynch and Jack Rewald are watching things unfold. Guys, how are you seeing the game?
Yeah, Sarah, seeing it strong down here at the moment from both sides, Lynchy. There's matchups all over the ground, but the anticipation was who was Oisin Mullen going to go to, and it was Lachie Neale.
Yeah, well, he's had some scalps this year, does a great job, and Lachie Neale's had the 15 touches, and he physically looks okay, but he's having one of those nights where Mullen's getting off him and hurting him the other way, and then Lachie at times is not getting used. But he's strangely enough, he started on the bench for that second term, and he's only had the 3 clearances, so not quite at his best, but he's working his way back into the game, was better in that second quarter. Didn't make a huge impact, but he got into the game a bit more, and he's certainly working really hard to sort of create some space.
One of the other matchups that we highlighted pre-game was Harris Andrews, and of course the history with Shannon Neale, and it sort of worked early. It's been a bit of the way the game's been played, and this is how Geelong have been able to play Andrews.
Yeah, well, Harris Andrews is the most important player that this team has, clearly the most important for what he does intercepting and spoiling. So he's getting dragged up the ground. So what he likes to do is sit off his opponent and intercept and spoil other marking contests. But he got lost on that occasion. His man gets used deep. But Harris Andrews, again, started to rectify that in the second term. But where he is really good is when he's by himself. But in this situation, a block there keeps him out of the contest, and that's what clubs do. That's what you have to do to him.
We've seen Henry go forward and have an impact. He's trying to get to Andrews. Andrews started to get back into the game. We saw some of those, traditional Harris Andrews spoilers on the goal line, Sarah. So another heavyweight battle in what is a great contest.
The stage is set for another Thursday night thriller, that is for sure. And then tomorrow, Friday night footy on Fox sees the Sydney Swans. They sit 8-1 at the top of the table. They take on Collingwood 6:30 p.m. Charlie Curnow is back for the Swans. And then the Suns, they've won their past 2. They're firm favourites to beat the Power. That one at 8 p.m. Friday night footy on Fox. A big doubleheader to enjoy.
All right, we'll be back with the commentators in just a moment, folks. But there we go. It's half time at the Gabba. 12 points the margin. It's the Cats leading 8-9, 57. Brisbane Lions 7-3-45. I tell you what, that was a little bit of a mirror image, folks, of the opening term for, at least half to 3/4 of that second quarter. The Brisbane Lions, tell you what, Fakesy must have said something to them because they came out like rockets. Tell you what, 5 goals, 2 in that second term for the Brisbane Lions. 3 goals, 4 to the Cats. I tell you what, though, the Cats, they had to ride the wave all the way to the shore. And, of course, they did that. And then they pounced back with a couple of late goals to kick that margin back out to 2 goals. I tell you what, we are in for a ring-a-ding-ding. second half. I'll tell you what, I thought at quarter time this was going to be one-way traffic, this game. But the Brisbane Lions, well, they're here to play. They're here to play. And I tell you what, Charlie Cameron, he had an absolutely brilliant second term. Absolutely fantastic by him. All right, let's head on down and have a look at the stats, folks, before we head back to, hey, just before we go any further, let's just have a look at the live. This is the live ladder as the game stands. Of course, opening game of round 10. And if Geelong win this, both of these teams have got a lot to play for. Of course, both sitting on 24 points at the moment. Of course, if Brisbane win, they'll jump up into third. They'll switch with Geelong. They'll be in third and Geelong will be down there in fifth spot. But at the moment, the Cats, if they win this game, they'll jump up into third spot and the Lions down there in fifth spot. That is the live ladder at the moment. Just looking at the goal scorers so far, we did have a few there. Hey, Music Cats King, come on, Catters. I tell you what. They look pretty good out there. I tell you what, they did a good job. They did a good job to stem this tide of the Brisbane Lions. I think the Brisbane Lions kicked about, was it 5 or 6 goals in a row? Somewhere there. Oh, there, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 4 goals. There we go. They did a really good job to just ride that wave to the shore and stem the tide and then hit back hard late in that second term. They got back on top of the game. There we go. Bailey Smith, 2 goals there for the Cats. He's the only multiple for them. Shannon Neal's got one with Manor, Oliver Henry, Paddy Dangerfield, Brad Close, Jezza and Cameron. My gosh, that was a tongue twister, wasn't it? For the Brisbane Lions, there we go. Charlie Brum Cameron, as I said, he had a cracking last goal. I tell you what, he kicked a magnificent goal, Charlie Cameron. 2 goals straight for him. Cam Rayner, the Bulls got one. Logan Morris, he got one, sitting on 99 goals for his career. Cody Curtin, Zach Bailey, Levi Ashcroft also with a goal. But if we have a look here, Maxi Holmes continues to lead the way, topping the table on the disposal count with 19, 7 handballs, 12 kicks, 2 marks, a tackle, 5 clearances, going really well. And for the Brisbane Lions, 17 disposals, a piece to Darcy Wilmot, Levi Ashcroft, there we go. Doing really well. Bailey Smith, tell you what, he is absolutely having a night to remember. He does what he does. I tell you what, I won't be surprised if this man, Bailey Smith, wins a Brownlow medal one year. There we go, 16 disposals, 10 and 6, 2 clearances, 2 goals, 3 tackles. How good is Baz Penka? Who's that? You mean Jezza? You mean Jezza? He was... I tell you, I liked his goal where he kicked it from the snap, landed on his back, and it just went straight through. He's one guy who can snap a ball pretty much from 50 and make the distance. There we go. Josh Dunkley, 16. Lockie Neal, Will Ashcroft, both on 15. Tommy Stewart, tell you what, he's the one who's held the back line up really strong there for the Cats. His defensive work is fantastic. Already 6 intercept marks there for him. There we go. Lawson Humphries on 12 as we just roll on down a bit. Hugh McCluggage hasn't really come into the game yet, just the 10 touches. Jasper Fletcher also just the 10. Paddy Dangerfield, he's doing his bit. Bailey Smith. He's having a fantastic, I tell you what, he's a star, Bailey Smith. There are so many Geelong players that would slot straight into the top the top 5 players in any side. Definitely Bailey Smith and definitely Jeremy Cameron, that is for sure. And of course Maxi Home as well. There, Jezza Cameron, 9 disposals, just a little bit wayward. 1 goal, 3 for him off his 6 kicks. Paddy Dangerfield, I said, he's doing his job. It won't surprise me to see him get more involved in the game, but doing a lot of the bullying work there for the Catters. Sam Draper, 7 touches, 13 hitouts for him. And, of course, Mitchell Edwards, 11 hitouts for the Cats. There we go. Shannon Neal, just the 1 goal. Beautiful long-range goal there from him. All right, let's go and have a quick look at the team stats. Great goals kicked. There's been some fantastic goals kicked tonight. And, of course, the Geelong player, I can't remember his name, took a screamer. Well, the ball sort of was just on the ground, but he took a screamer. It was paid, but unfortunately he missed the goal. There we go. It was +5 in disposal count there to the Brisbane Lions. So it's a tight game. I tell you what I have noticed, a lot of ball fumbling. Is the ball a little bit slippery or what out there? I'm not sure, but some of the players, even the Geelong players, were putting the ball down. The Lions players were just fumbling the ball a bit. It's just like a little bit of wet soap out there in their hands. Their inside forward 50s, both now is starting to level up. I think they were about plus 12 in the inside 50s in that quarter, the Brisbane Lions. So that's more on target there. 10 scoring shots for 32 inside 50s for the Lions, but the Cats, 17 scoring shots. They're scoring at nearly 1 every 2 entries, 35 entries. It's been raining. I'm not too sure. Win or lose, as long as we can stick with them, I'll be happy. I'm still tipping the Cats to win this game. Just the way they're playing, I think they've just been more dominant throughout this game. Well, I think I think there was just that slight period in this period here. Where are we? 18 minutes. Look, I think Brisbane. This is about the only time Brisbane controlled any part of this game was just here. The Cats were in control the rest of the game, so I think they'll still win. Free kick count. There we go. 11-8. Umpires blowing the whistle a little bit more in that second term. +3 to the hometown team. There we go. Just going to your disposal efficiency. Both teams pretty similar. 71-4, 71-6. Efficiency inside 50. Cats slightly better there. Still under average, 48.6. The hitouts. The Lions doing the job there, 25-16. Clearances. Lions got on top there in that quarter, 22-17 +5. And they've actually taken the centre clearance lead from the half-time 9-6. So they're +3 there and +2 around the ground. Just don't want to get smashed. And I don't think they'll get smashed. Geelong, I'll tell you what, Geelong are playing a great brand of footy at the moment. As I said, just some of the errors with both teams. Look, both teams are putting good pressure on each other in certain times of the ball, but there's just a little bit mishandling of the ball. But I think Geelong are certainly handling the ball a little bit better than the Brisbane Lions out there till halftime. Contested. It's a well-contested game, as we can see if we are listening and watching. 74-72. There we go. Uncontested, pretty much the same. Just one the difference there. As in the marks, 36-38. So the marks are going to be similar, with the uncontested being pretty similar as well. Marks inside 50, Lions +3 there. It's a little bit hard to imagine. I thought Geelong took more inside 50 marks than that, but they've only got 2. The Lions 5, but contested marks. Cats a little bit stronger in the air. I want to have a look at this defensive line. As we know here, this is one part that really lacks, I think, in Brisbane's game. 46.8, their season average. They're in the defensive, their tackle work. 26, they're slightly above season average, but that number, they really need to climb and get this part of their game a little bit more tighter. As you can see, when this loads back up, my gosh, what's going on here? The Cats, they're on season average of 30 tackles. That's more like it. I know there's only 4 the difference, but their season average is 60, so they're always hitting the pressure and the tackles, sticking tackles well. Tackles inside forward 50. Well, both teams a little bit light on just the moment this evening, 2-4. Cats by 2. And just for, of course, music cat. What happened there? Player stats. There we go. Just for the music, Cats King. There we go. That's the live ladder for you, Squire. That's the live ladder for you. If the Cats end up winning by this margin, they'll end up 3rd. The Lions will 5th. That will change if the Lions win. Lions will be 3rd. Cats will be 5th. But at the moment, there we go. I think with the one thing that the Cats do need to do in this game is, if they do happen to beat the Lions, they want to put a little bit of percentage on the Lions, because as you can see, there's 0.5% between the Geelong Cats there and Brisbane Lions. So you want to probably get 3 or 4% up, just in case you lose next week and the Lions win, just to stay above them. But there we go. That's the live ladder at the moment. But hey, look, that's enough for me for jibber jabbering. Let's head back down. We'll head back down to the commentators, because we're only about 50 seconds away from the bounce of the ball for the second half. I tell you what, folks, we're in for a ring-a-ding-ding game. So far in the live chat, if you're joining us here in the live chat, we have 71% tipping Geelong Cats to win this game, 29% tipping the Brisbane Lions. Maybe we've got 2 of their goals came from a couple of odd slip-ups. Well, true, but true. The one, you know what, the one good thing, goals haven't come through tonight, and that's error in judgment by the umpires or any involvement through the umpires allowing the opposition to get a goal. So there might be a couple of odd slip-ups or whatever with goals through the opposing team or your team getting them. Just the beauty of that is that's football, and of course the umpire is not determining the factor of what happens in the game. There we go. All right, let's head back down to the action. The commentators will run us into the bounce of the ball, where it's the Cats leading by 12 points.
Stay with us. We're in for a magnificent second half. Umpire holds the ball aloft. It's Edwards and Draper to get us underway. Edwards wins the first tap. Neil and Mullendu battle. Away from Bailey it goes. Bruin. High ball inside 50. No mark from Henry. Coleman with the crumbs. Spins and goes. Round the corner with another high one. Draper couldn't quite, but he gets a free kick. Edwards infringes.
Oh, advantage paid. Took a while for the call. Goes to Lockie Neal. Wants someone coming towards him. Morris is the target. And he takes a nice strong mark, Logan Morris. What a talent he is.
Well,
a big advantage.
That ball was on Max Holmes' foot, and he could have picked it up, but he thought he'd stop because if he did anything, it was going to be 50 metres. And then the umpire called advantage after it spilled to Lockie Neal. Error there.
Morris lining up, looking to kick his 100th AFL goal. 1 goal, 1 for the evening. Take a good effort from just outside 50. The number 13. Never looked good off the boot. Just everything.
Let's see Logan Morris drawing the ball there, sort of putting it up his jumper to try and get the greasiness off it. It is greasy out there. Of course, with the artwork on the ball, it has been slippery. We've seen some players drop it tonight already.
Guthrie's kick. No mark, taken to ground. Jack Henry over the top. A little bit of rain just before the bounce this third term. More possibly forecasts. Scattered showers across Brisbane. Fletcher Dunkley. Inside 50. Cameron hovering. O'Sullivan gathers. Bruin kept it in. Did well in the end. Guthrie's handled too hot for Smith. Grabbed by Neil. Floated to Morris. And he's directly in front this time and 25 metres out.
I think the Cats have fumbled about 6 times tonight, and they've paid a heavy price every time. Just that handball of fraction fierce.
That's your line.
Just here, bang. Just a small fumble from Smith. And Morris ready to pounce.
The last kick from Logan Morris, outside 50. Sort of leant back on it, trying to get that extra distance. Usually a very smooth mover through the ball.
Kicked the third goal of the second term. Another chance for a landmark goal. Morris comes in and it's the woodwork.
See it again, he sort of leant back as that final stride in to kick the ball.
Tough conditions down there, Lynchy.
It's getting tougher. I was interested in Matty Hill saying it was only a light shower.
In the line ball, Blitzards. In the light shower, marks well.
He's right. Play on.
Plays on. Rather ungainly, but effective on the left. Harris Andrews worked underneath it. Henry, good mark. Attempted mark. Couldn't quite bring it to ground. Fought. Now it is really raining here at the Gabba. Neil pokes it forward. Draper in good position. Tough conditions now. Dempsey tries to go off the ground. Gee, someone nearly had their legs taken out.
Oh,
Draper, gee.
Wow. He changed his mind halfway through that decision.
He's going to mark from below the knee.
Draper floats it out to Wilmot. Goes for a scamper. And hits the sternum of McKenna. Plays on quickly. It's got Cameron leading out.
Rain's really coming down here, so this is where you've got to be smart as a player. You got the ball. Make sure it's a 100% decision when you make it.
To the interior. Coleman switches on. Floating ball to the outer side. Little kick in the Bailey direction. Just pressured enough by Edwards. Back to O'Connor, darting little ball to Manor, and the Cats are well and truly out, and they've got a bit of run now through Henry. Henry plays on quickly towards attacking 50. Cameron, Mullen running back and can slam it through. Just like the first quarter, they get the first goal of the third.
Well, that's a great run. I mean, he's known for his tagging, but they're calling him the Irish Dacos. What can he become, this guy? What can he do? Because look at this run. At half-back, he burns Neil.
Wow.
Neil can't go with him. He puts 10, 15, 20 on him. Neil gives up, and he keeps going. And Cameron rewards him for his hard work. That is an inspirational play.
This way, guys.
From O'Sheen Mullen. And Lockie Neal would be hanging his head. He'd know exactly what's happened just then, and you watch him. He'll respond, Lockie, this next 5 minutes, no doubt, like all champions do. But that is a great goal for the tagger.
Irish Dacos.
That's what they're going with.
Nick, Josh or Peter?
Take your pick.
Holding, Smith, Geelong. Bailey Smith.
Cats are out to a 3-goal margin, 17 points in fact in now very wet conditions, the wettest we've seen her all night. Another centre clearance, Smith the Bruin pumps it forward, tough for the aerialist. Jack Martin at ground level. Fletcher pushed off at Manor, hacks it out of the air. We've seen some beauties tonight, and that is right up there with them. In a World Cup year, he slams it home.
Opportunistic there from Sean Manor. And the conditions starting to get trickier with the rain coming down. It's very slippery out there. Sometimes you just do throw a boot at it and things happen. Cats back on top in the centre. They dominated that first quarter. Were beaten comprehensively in the second. And you can see here a fumble in wet weather footy. Threw the boot on it. It is a perfect snap. Surprise, surprise, Ollie Dempsey standing in the goal square by himself, but he wasn't needed there. Making something out of nothing there, Sean Manor.
Big start to the second half from the away side. Draper wins the tap, only to Bruin, who coughs it up to Bailey. Ball still in dispute. Holmes had it for a moment. Smith off the ground. Manor replies in kind. Then ripped off at Gardner. Got a kick away though. High ball. And then Myers just nudged Marshall underneath. Free kick Lions. Marshall goes short to Bailey.
A couple of misses early to Moat. Logan Morris in the turn. For Mullen and Manor respond. 12-point halftime margin is out now to 23 points. Rayner, he's kick one, just slides it forward. Fist comes from behind. It's a free kick against Kurt. The way of McKenna, and he gets out of trouble to Neil.
Bruin over the top. Sat up all right in the conditions for Smith. That's a well-weighted kick towards Henry. He's got a couple of lines to beat here. Where are the reinforcements? Cameron comes in, tries to hang it out to dry, but the line beat him.
That was a good spoil by Ryan Lester, who's such a vulnerable position standing in front of the opponent when the ball goes over your head. He's so careful not to give away that front-on contact free kick.
The Cats pressing, opening two of the term. Harris Andrews punches it out. As far as Dempsey. Centering to a dangerous area. Neil goes back to the flight, fisted away from him. Myers hits it with speed. Manor's got two. Correction! Manor has three.
This is becoming a real issue for Brisbane and their defence. Ground ball goals. We saw two from stoppage in the first quarter. And we've seen two already in this quarter. Repeat entries, you put it to the hot spot, wet weather footy, and then it's a case of just bringing it to the front and turning up. Brian Myers in exactly the right spot, waxing with his half-forward counterpart there. And Sean Manor making the most of it. Just getting too much leg rope at ground level, getting too much access to those ground balls, getting to predictable spots, and they are lining up to kick goals on the lines from the ground ball.
Yeah, it's a good call. Fletcher didn't see it through. He thought near enough was good enough. Manor made him pay.
The ultimate challenge thrown down to the home side. 3 goals on the bounce for the Cats. Out of the middle, Atkins. Belts it inside 50. Up they go. Out the back. Close. Couldn't quite gather, but pats it forward. That man again. Oh, Manor. It's Manor again.
Just too strong. Just held his balance, took the confrontation, caught one. He don't want to go off now. He's just getting rid of that blood as quick as he can. I hope the umpire doesn't see it. He's on fire. Just swung this game big time. 3 quick goals in the third quarter. Chris Fagan looks on because this matchup is a real concern now. He's just too strong. He just twists Fletcher, takes front position, takes the tackle all over. Got to be harder than that if you're Fletcher. At this level, you get exposed if you're not physical. Look at this. He just turns him too easy and then charges. Great play from Manor. He's third for the term, as you call.
Jack Martin's got the quickest 4-goal burst of the century in 5 minutes and 16 seconds, passing Jack Rewalt. At the moment, 3 in 4 minutes to that man Manor. I don't know how long it took you for your 4, Jack, but they must have been in a hurry.
Oh, don't start him, Howie, please.
It'll be a long flight home tomorrow.
The other issue for the Lions is centre bounce. It's 2 goals already. 4 zip centre bounce.
Where is Manor? He's off the back of the pack here. 3 and 4 minutes to the number 7 here. Quiet little patch. Recent weeks he's got back to his best.
Records are there to be broken, boys.
Was Fletcher again on Manor?
He's scouting the pack here. Myers. Gee, they're a long way from home now, Brisbane. It's out to a game-high 35-point margin on the back of 3 in 4 minutes from Manor.
On the ball. Geelong.
Bailey Smith has awarded the free hold in the ball. He's already kicked 1. Big long goal as Bailey plays on, looking to repeat the dose. They've been kicking them from everywhere. The catch right to the teeth of goal. Forced to a dangerous area. Straight to Henry. Hooray for Henry. They're unstoppable at the moment, the Cats. 5 time in the third term. And this is turning into, at the moment, a belting, a 41-point margin. Didn't see it coming.
No one saw this coming. Not to this level. The defensive 50 look rattled. They really do, whether it's bringing the ball out of defensive half in that first term, they look sketchy. And even here, if it's not Harris Andrews in behind the ball diffusing, he's doing as best he can coming back to assist, but he leaves his man all alone top of the goal square. So they're forcing him to take that sort of risk by taking him to positions he doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to defend.
It's the most vulnerable position to fly from, third man in, coming from the front of the contest there.
2 to Ollie Henry. The Cats kicked the last 2 goals in the second term, so to my calculations, that's 7 goals in a row to the Cats. Holmes off the ground. Tunstall scrounging for it. Bailey there for reinforcements. Cats want holding the ball.
It's 5 zip now, centre bounce clearances, 6-2 around the ground.
Edgewood slapped it down. Dunkley, quick kick. She requires Humphreys. Gabba crowd didn't think so.
About 6 metres.
Humphreys. Make sure he kicks on the right. Floating ball to Holmes. Holmes prolific as always. Kick to the pockets. Up they go, Andrews in the front spot. Dangerfield front and centre, stolen from him. As it's hacked out by Lester. Big punch comes from the back from DeConey. He receives the ball eventually. Out to O'Connor. Loman tackles him. Umpire says holding the ball.
A mistake this time, it's McCluggage. Slippery conditions, a 41-point margin to the Cats, who have kicked 5 unanswered for the term. Dominating Brisbane at the Gabba. Guthrie pokes it forward. There is Manor, who kicked 3 in 4 minutes this term. He's got another possession here, Manor. End over end ball inside 50. Andrews attacks it. Leicester will be under pressure, as will Bruce. Keeps it in. Close does the same. Manor tries to get a boot on it.
See, they're all over him here. The pressure through the roof for the Cats. It sits at 200 in this third term. The Lions can't function.
Been exposed at forward 50 stoppage tonight. We've seen him exposed in this quarter on ground level. Got to be on high alert here. Sean Mannor's been the hit too.
Neil worked his way to the front. Bailey read it. He got rid of it. Dangerfield scoots across the face of goal. And a throw in.
This is a real worrying sign for Brisbane, not being able to defend these ground balls. Giving too much leeway to the Cats forwards.
Mullen trying some aerial work. Bailey just a left foot check, so just trying to clear the defensive zone any way they can at the moment. A while since we've seen Brisbane under the pump like this. Lohman sends it forward. Morris wanted the 50. Umpire wasn't interested. Now called to play on. Forward hand pass to Bruce. Runs into Bailey Smith holding the pill.
It's authoritative. Stewart goes wide. Manor. Lee Fletcher. They gets the free kick for a hold. Everything going their way at the moment. As Manor's kick, centering ball. Henry's on his own, flicks it backwards to Atkins. Does a 360 back towards Smith. Humphreys running on by from 49. And then he just sets sail for home for a behind.
Well, I'd have to disagree with the umpire. I think once you're taking the mark, he paid this earlier in the game. If you impede the play, that's 50 metres. Ball was tapped out of the hands by Stewart. Should have been a 50.
Bailey, punchy kick. Hangs up in the air for a while. McCluggage claimed the mark. Umpire said no.
Local starting to get involved. Feel like they're getting the rough end of the stick.
Cats with foots on the throat at the moment. Wilmot. A sky ball back into the middle. O'Connor tries to cut it to himself. Grabbed by Holmes. They grab him. Taken to ground by Levi Ashcroft. Umpire Watson. Not even that man to think about.
Big win last week versus the Pies. The Cats hitting their straps. Spiral forward, Dangerfield. Full chested towards the footy. Henry tries to provide support. Mannor's around the pack again. He's kicked free for the turn, Manor. Went a hand pass to himself. That's how well he's going. Mullen comes back the other way. Ashcroft under pressure, as is Bailey. They're swarming them everywhere at the moment, the Cats.
Rucks, Mark, Darcy.
Geelong's pressure rating up at 2.14 at the moment.
Hacked out of the congestion by Wilmot to a 2-on-2. Draper couldn't mark. Stewart had it, lost it. Lohman puts the pressure on. Will Ashcroft through the centre. Kick towards Morris. That'll do. So Morris plays on urgently. And then pokes it to Draper in the square, who can lope in and go bang. Boy, they need more of that. Breaks the run of 7 Cats goals in a row.
Well, credit to Draper. He's been charging forward all night. He's been a constant challenge for the Geelong Rucks. As you see him there, top left of the screen, charging forward. Gee, another fine line decision as to whether it's 50, but he's all alone in the square. Great play, big man.
Harvey Norman replay. Breaks a run of 7 goals away of the Cats. 12 points at half time. Manor kicked 3 in the space of 4 minutes. He's got 4 for the night, alongside 14 disposals.
Once they lost their game a little bit with their kick handball ratio. It's 4 kicks to 1 handball at the moment.
You just slipped, so it went straight to Draper, who drags out of the middle again. Humphries tracks it back. He beat to it by McKenna. Stewart keeps his feet, his composure close. Didn't get much purchase on the footy. Bailey Smith pops over the top of it. 13 disposals for him tonight. No room clear for Will Ashcroft.
Exactly. He's come up to contest now, so he's rolled on ball, been predominantly half forward in that first half.
Neil for the Cats. That'll bring more rain, that one. Good luck marking that. Wilmot kicks to himself. And the foot race is on. Blitzards, Marshall, Manor wins the foot race, but no one really to get it back to, and Wilmot's happy to see it over.
It's been a long time since I've seen the Lions savage like this at stoppage. 50 points to 13 scores from clearances. Coming into tonight, they were the number one team at stoppage, the Brisbane Lions. That was their weapon.
Bruce out to Coleman. Good punt. Stewart gets off McKenna. He's having some night. Tom Stewart keeps it in front of the Irishman with a bit of Gaelic-style football. He's still going, Tom. Gets the bounce, picks it up, runs into Harris. High-quality football. Stewart helps Harris Andrews to his feet. Still they come, the Cats. What a run that was from Tom Stewart. Dangerfield will get a free, I think. Nope, it's gone the other way, below the legs.
How good was that bump there? Stewart v Andrews, bang.
Oof.
We'll look at each other. Yeah, nice work. You okay? Yep, you're all right. Let's go.
It's the Defenders Union looking after each other.
Will Ashcroft. Kick to the wing. Out the back. Fort to Rayner. Over the top. McKenna. Coleman's at the back. Just the kick wasn't weighted enough. Zach Guthrie with the intercept mark.
Distance. Morris didn't realise. Atkins also goes very short. Previous one was the distance. That one could have only just been. Manor, 15 disposals and 4 snags. He kicked the kneel against Draper.
The locals aren't happy at all.
Deal for the Cats. Martin blocked it.
Back behind your mark. Back behind your mark. Yep. Stand.
Jack Martin. 11 goals so far this season.
That's why we brought that law in, or that rule in. It cause incredible damage with that sort of play there, Patrick Dangerfield, into the lower leg, the knees of Will Ashcroft.
Steady approach. Gives it everything. It's going to prop right up in the square. Cameron waits at the back last line. Manor to Cameron. Cameron opens up the goal line and kicks the goal. He was never going to miss. He's kicked a couple. And the Cats have had a magnificent third term.
He's had some special games, has Sean Manor. But I just don't know if I've seen him involved in as much scoring as what he's done tonight. This third quarter has been ridiculous. And just have a look at the two of them here. Just work this out perfectly. Just a little give, and the best snapper in the game says thank you very much. The third quarter from Sean Manor. 11 disposals, 6 have become scores, and 3 goals in 1 quarter of football. Fantastic day out for Sean Manor.
Poor goal line Manor there on the end from the Lions. They needed to kill that over the goal line.
Smith. Range hand pass to Atkins. Tries to get away from Loman. He got one hand on it. O'Sullivan's jump was a touch early. Edwards turns it over by hand. Rayner kicked an early goal. Punches it forward. Mullen with the spoil. He's still doing the job on Lockie Neal, who just throws himself into the contest. They hang in there, Geelong.
Over to Bailey. Bailey spins out of 1. Can he spin out of 2? He's had it for a long time. He charges towards goal. He goes himself. It's going to still be in play. And Cameron's going to mark it. Stand.
Oh, I don't know how that happened. Straight up in the air, I reckon it wobbled about 8 different directions and stayed in. How far did he run? I might get the lab boys on that one.
Unorthodox, but it still might work. Charlie Cameron. Steadies. That's the assignment. Accurate. He's kicked 3. He tries to lift his team.
Brings it back to 36 points. It's a long road back, we know that, but we'll never forget that game in 2013. Ash McGrath, his 200th game of AFL footy. 38 points from that trial by 3/4 time. You can score quickly in this game. Funny things can happen. They get their clearance game going and start to raise their intensity around clearance, but particularly centre bounce clearance. Strange things can happen. The crowd are itching to get involved now. They just need something to cheer.
Long grass game.
Yep.
Highlights of that pre-game. So Charlie's got 3. Cameron have kicked the last 2. 1 for Geelong, 1 for Brisbane. Manners kicked 3 for the term, 4 for the night. He's had 15 touches. Now they drag it out of the middle. To McCluggage, piercing ball forward. Charlie's got the skates on with the ball, skids away over the damp turf.
Another move is Cam Rayner has gone on ball at centre bounce. So they're looking to become a bit more dynamic in there. You can see Ashcroft getting on the fly. They're in a position where you can take those risks.
Curtin in the ruck, goes himself. Out to Lohman. Hurry kick over.
Mitch! Brisbane ruck!
Curtin again with Edwards. 2 youngsters go at it. Curtin one. Lohman goes himself, throws it on the boot. It's an up and under. Marshall. He padded out.
Catch by 22 at quarter time. Brisbane kicked the first 4 goals the second term to lead it before Geelong responded with the last 2 to lead it by 12 at half time before the first 5 of the term. They're up by 36 points, the Cats. Stewart's had 15, Madden 15 and 4 goals, Bailey Smith 13 and 2 goals, Wilmot with 17 leads, all comers for possessions.
Cam Rayner, Brisbane.
Rayner reluctant to leave the field of play.
Where can it come from, Lynchy? Where do you see Brisbane finding or raising the stakes? Right there.
Signed off, Lynchy. Get back to Alistair Lynch shortly. Steaming through, McCluggage, it's all about the finish. Sends it really high. Cameron stands underneath it. Tickled the ball with his body. Free for in the back, umpire not so keen.
We've seen some clear runs and stoppage from the lines in the last minute. But that's where they can get on top.
Cody Mitch.
Flicked out by Ashcroft. Edwards had it for a moment. McCluggage trying to thread the needle. Curtin hurried hands. And then Will Ashcroft blazes away and misses. So to repeat that question, Alistair Lynch, where can some sort of comeback be built from?
Well, I think it's probably they've got to get the centre clearances to sort it out. They've been belted at centre bounce, so that's why they've gone for the likes of Cam Rayner to try to get some power through the midfield there. But it's going to be a long road back, but they can do it. We've seen the Lions in the past have a burst of 5 minutes and kick multiple goals.
We need that no more. Down the line ball, Henry.
Back. Brisbane.
The back of Harris Andrews. And 50 took too long to give it back.
That helps.
Small things.
Yeah, just don't want to give an inch here. You feel like the Lions have got one surge in them.
Many chances too, Harris Andrews.
Kicked a goal this season. 11 in a 246-game career. Brown realises it's a rarity. They're getting behind the skipper. Two-time premiership captain. make it 2 in a row with a goal from the most unlikely source. Number 31 hooks it, but it's coming back. Oh, right to the teeth. The goal. Morris claims it out the back. Couldn't believe it. All clear. 2 in a row. Something.
I think Harris might be blaming the gripper on the hands there for the ball drop. This gave me shades of 2022 Joe Danaher at the goal square, but they've just got to be opportunistic, and they were at that forward foray there. Real discipline to get the shot, the 50-metre penalty. You've got to make the most of your opportunities, and Logan Morris did exactly that.
Well, Lynchie's right. Just don't drop your gloves here, because the Lions can put 4 on your beak in 5 minutes. Back to a 30-point margin. Scoreboard will start to energise them.
Third attempt. He brings up the 100. Well, cracks that at Shane Watson, but 100 goals for Logan Morris, and away he goes.
Some momentum for the Lions as Edwards dances around his opponent. Hefty kick inside 50. No mark, Ollie Henry. Andrews takes it over.
Good choice words from Harris Andrews towards Ollie Henry there. Suggesting he probably could have caught that one.
6 goals to 3 for the term after the Cats piled 5 in a row. 3 to Mullen, but Brisbane's kicked the next 2. Check side to the teeth of goal. Out the back, Dempsey, dangerous, pokes it. Just misses. Let off for Brisbane.
Sean Manor, the first Cat since Tom Hawkins in 2018 to have 11 plus disposals and 3 plus goals in the quarter. So another one of the Fox boys loses the record. Bad day.
Levi Ashcroft called for it, led hard, received it. Lockie Neal. Down the line he goes. Draper, good lead, strong mitts. Lions building on the members' wing. Inside 50, Morris flew before acceptances. Lohman stole it off the back. Snap it, goal! Just offline.
See, when they get stewed up the ground, they really look vulnerable, the Cats in the air.
Holmes bringing some dash and meterage. Had to be perfect to Manor, who's having the game of his life. Sends it to the path of Cameron. Keeps it in place, steps around. Now to Smith. Taking the bounce is Tanner Bruin within range. But not with the accuracy.
Where's the one we can pick it from tonight? This is the Kai Lohman. Oh, wowee.
Just grazed the post,
yeah, just grazed the post.
Blitzards feed Cameron. Blitzards with the fist.
It's a good call from the goal umpire. Sam. Down on a bit of confidence this year, Howard, if you haven't noticed. He was all over that.
Lions with the last 2, courtesy of Charlie Cameron, Logan Morris. Draper down to Lockie Neal. McCluggage hugging the boundary, slapped it in play. Will Ashcroft kept it moving. McCluggage gathers back to Will Ashcroft. Entry inside, attacking 50. Lohman flies. It's going to be a holding free kick. It is going to the Lions anyway.
Yeah, they're surging here. They've really lifted around the clearance. Contested footy area in the last 10 minutes. Just coming into three-quarter time. Plus 9 contested possessions the last 6 minutes.
So Kenner's got to be careful here. It's on the siren.
Checking he can go off his line, which he has. Just can't cross it now.
This for 3 in a row for the Lions. It's coming around. Not quite enough.
Big turn from the Cats. Manor kicked 3. They kicked 5 in a row. 6 goals to 3 for the term. They led by 12 points at the major break. The Cats are 29 points to the good after this massive post-game coming your way. Chiefs Trivia, we're going down in the rooms. We have Wreck-It Ralph, the press conferences. Cats leader by 29 points at 3/4 time.
All right, there we go. 3/4 time, and the Lions have got what they want. They've got it under 30 points. 29 points the margin here. 14-11-95 the Cats. 10-6, 66 Brisbane Lions. That's right, 16 scoring shots to 25. How you going, Paul? What's going on? That's right, the key stats. As I said, the Cats could have been further ahead, but some of those shots, well, they should have got. I'll tell you what, didn't they just come out of the gates exploding the Cats in that third term? Wowee. That's all you can say is wowee. They were just fantastic. I really don't know. I don't know how, well, my opinion, just by watching, I'm not sure how they can be a 6-goal better team in the final term, but you can't write up the Brisbane Lions. They've done it before. So we'll just have to wait and see, folks. Wait and see. Hey, let's just have a quick look at the live ladder and then we'll go to those stats that you want. Wow. Look at those. Because Brisbane has let Geelong get such a margin, they've actually dropped from 5th to 6th on the live ladder. Their percentage down to 118.4. They lost about, they lose then about 2%, 2.5%, 3% in that third term. The Cats, though, up to 122.3, getting that 4% margin on there. So the Brisbane Lions, if they do happen to lose this game, they want to bridge the gap a little bit just to boost their percentage back up above the Gold Coast Suns. And, of course, I don't want to get it anywhere near Hawthorn's, although there's 2 points of difference there. Won't make much difference, but that's where it sits out on the live ladder at the moment. If it stands as it is, the Cats third, Brisbane 6 in the opening game of round 10. Let's go and have a quick look at the goal scorers. We had a few. Sean Manor, I tell you what, he polled on a few in that third term. 4 goals to Sean Manor from the Geelong Putty Cats. Bailey Smith, he's having a ring-a-ding-ding game. He's kicked 2 straight. Oliver Henry's kicked 2, and Jessic Jeremy Cameron, 2 goals, 3 for him. Singles to Shannon Neal, Mullen, Brad Close, of course, for the Big Cats, the Brisbane Lions. Charlie Brum, he's got 3 straight. Good to see him back in form. Logan Morris kicked his 100th goal in AFL career. There we go. Well done, Logan Morris. He's got 2 goals too. Be good to get the monkey off the back. Finally breaking his 100 there. Cam Rayno and Sam Draper, Cody Curtin, Zach Bailey, Levi Ashcroft, singles. Looking at disposal count, she's pretty close. There's only 8 disposals difference. You're looking at some of the key stats inside 50. Of course, the inside 50, Geelong just got away a little bit there, +8 now. 44 for 16 inside scoring shots for the Lions. 52 for the Cats, 25. Still going at about a score every 2 entries for the Cats, so they're doing really well there. You're looking at the marks. Efficiency still holding up really well there is Geelong at 72. The free kicks 18 to 15. +3 to the Lions. Nothing much changed from half time there. The clearances, well, it's the Lions. 5 clearances overall, 35-30. That's in the stoppages though. That's where they're +7 there. But the Cats have regained the lead in the centre clearances, 13-11. Brisbane Lions slightly ahead on hitouts, 37-30. Contested possessions, pretty similar. 115, 106. The Cats just controlled the ball a little bit more. That was pretty tight half time, but it's now 15 margin there, 165, 150. Turnovers pretty high in this game for both teams. They're looking at your marking count. Well, not much difference in the marks, 53, 55, but the Lions still, well, they're doubling the Cats. 10-5 inside forward 50s. Contested marks go on the Cats' ways, but they need to utilise this a little bit more, the Lions, when they get those marks inside 50. They need to capitalise and do what they can. Just heading down, looking at the tackle count. All right, so the Cats are on song. I think they had about 19 tackles in that third term. I think they were 30 at halftime. 49. All right, so they're going above season average, which is good. And the Cats, the Lions, I should say, the little Cats and the Big Cats, the Lions, still slightly under season average, 36. That needs to lift. Their pressure needs to lift. Their tackles inside forward 50. The Cats on top there, 9-4. Lions only having 4. Cats pretty good in 9. I don't know why this keeps loading up. There we go. All right, there we go. Let's get back here. Let's get back there. Let's head back down to the ground for the final quarter, folks. Tell you what, can the Lions mount a miracle comeback? What is it? 29 points the deficit. Or can the Geelong Cats continue to increase this lead? We'll find out as we head back down to the action for the final quarter.
Confident at the moment, so we'll wait and see whether he can play any part in the game.
That's interesting, Kingy and Jack.
Yeah, no, that's a big issue if he is not going to take part in this last quarter, because they need probably their best goal kicker out there at the moment. I mean, Draper has to play forward. Charlie Cameron's coming out of the goal square, so I'd expect to see Brisbane roll the dice here. On the fly at stoppage, we saw it in the back part of that third quarter there where they can be so damaging. 1 or 2 goals early in this fourth quarter will really put the pressure on the Cats.
Logan Morris just down the race, we believe. So let's kick off the final term. Edwards down only as far as Neil. Brisbane with the first foray inside 50. They crash in. Draper at the back. Felder Bailey. He's grabbed by Holmes.
Thanks, guys.
You can already see there Lockie Neal at that first centre bounce, opening it up, getting it on the fly.
Fort and Edwards, who's held his ground all night. Bruin, Mullet along the line. Cameron's there, takes it on the chest.
Just Mullen again, charging from stoppage, putting a gap on his direct matchup, which is Lockie Neal.
Cameron runs around Gardner, delays the kick, and drives it forward. Neal, big strong mark. Leicester was outsized, rarely beaten. It's a good mark for Neal, who's kicked one fine set shot already tonight.
Blocking Andrews off the contest there, trying to separate the juicy matchup of Neal and Leicester, which we've seen tonight already once, and Shannon Neal kicked a goal from 50. They knew they wanted to isolate it, and they got what they wanted.
This is a big early blow. Neal looking for a second. From the pocket. Draws it to the outside of the post.
That's setting it up on a Wednesday night at match committee. What do we want to do? We want to delay the timing of Harris Andrews. He's taken 1 intercept mark for the night. It's a huge tick to play Henry Ford, who hadn't played forward for 4 years, for that exact role. You get what you set up, and they cash in.
Andrews and Revell not too convincing there. Ford round the corner, and by O'Sullivan. Raker, high ball, Andrews in the right spot. Couldn't mark, harassed out of it by Manna. Manna to Neal. Then the errant handball, gathered by Cameron, who just doesn't miss a snap. And he's kicked 3. Great start for Geelong.
Well, there's pressure and then there's inferred pressure. You mentioned that stat, Kingy, that he's only had 1 intercept mark for the night. I think Harris felt the inferred pressure here, and it's cost his team the first goal of this last quarter. You can see there, that's a regulation mark for Harris Andrews. Doesn't bodyline the ball, loses his arms behind him, and they absolutely pay. Only just one of the best snappers in the business. Jeremy Cameron still gets it done.
What about the knowledge of your teammate? So it was a tough kick for Neal on the run with the gap narrowing, or the angle pretty tight. He knows that he's got Cameron, who's about to wheel onto his left. You very rarely see that handball across the top of the goal square like that. Terrific play.
Back out to a 6-goal margin. Jeremy Cameron's got 3. Manna's got 4. Charlie Cameron's got 3 himself. Touch ball. O'Sullivan back with the flight. Neal steams through. Lohman, Bailey, run down from behind. Brilliant from Mark Blitzarves. Just brilliant.
We heard from Chris Scott pre-game that he didn't think Blitzarves was 100%. He wasn't fully fit. Maybe they could have waited a week, but they just play him, and he does stuff like that.
Strong mark from Fort. Ball inboard to Leicester. Rayner with the bandage round the head. Sends it in the goal direction for a behind.
Stewart coming up for a 21st disposal. And he's intercepting best in air and on the ground tonight. Blitzarves fists it. Rayner can't shrug the tackle. Well done, Guthrie, to hang on to him. Ford. End over end, wobbler forward. Lohman outside. Cameron at the back. Tries to create something. Still he's there, Charlie. He's kicking goals at both ends. Not this time.
So Logan Morris has just come back up onto the bench. He's got a heavily strapped right knee.
Alistair Lynch, thank you very much. Loman attempts to crash his way through, standing tackle. There is Logan Morris. Draper flicks it back. McCluggage, kick was smothered. Grabbed by Guthrie. They grab him. And the ball up.
You don't get out of Rayner's tackles, do you?
Off the back of the contest. Rayner, Smith, Dempsey, Manor, doing it all tonight. I don't know how he did that. He's having one of those nights though. Myers has got through unscathed so far, touch wood. Sends it down to Henry. He's had a good night. Kicked a couple as Ollie. Options inboard. Score came from behind. From Marshall, Wilmot. Can't pick it up. Important hand in. Now to Bailey Smith. His hand pass was cut off. Wilmot. Pressure goes up. Fort. Can't get it clear of the contest. Myers by hand. Mannor's got 4. Manor from the boundary. Sends it tight to the top of the square. Henry's there. Comes back. Andrews through the hands of Neil. Still they come. Mullen bobs up.
Right. Oh. Well, it's frantic, isn't it? Frantic at ground level. And away they go. Quick exit. They got him on the hop here.
McKenna off to the races. Down the line. It's going to sit up for Charlie here. Cameron gathers well. Runs inside the arc towards Loman at the top of the square. There's a whistle. He's been pushed after he kicked it.
As he kicked, he's taken it back.
As he kicked.
Well, you're sitting in the front row, you get ready for a Charlie Cameron celebration. There's the free kick. Oh, just there.
That's the line, Charlie.
Does he take the shot, Jack, or does he try and pass?
No, I think he'll take the shot. He's a better chance on the run for my Charlie Cameron. He's going to take his best.
Lions leading a spark at the Gabba. Charlie Cameron with the set shot. It's going to sit up towards Draper. No mark out the back. Edwards happy to carry it over.
Thank you. You're up? Yep. Sam Mitch.
Edwards front position. Dempsey caught by Tunstall. Dangerfield with strength. Humphrey stands over it.
Holding. Lawson Humphreys.
Lawson Humphreys.
It was a silly tackle by Loman. The ball was well gone. Nearly a dangerous tackle as well.
Switches on. Charlie Cameron ferociously trying to steal that ball away from Holmes. O'Connor. O'Sullivan. Now through the middle. Atkins to Guthrie. Kick and a half from home. Out to Henry. Ollie Henry having it. Wheels and goes to the square. Neil's got 4 lines to beat. He's going to get a free kick for a tug of the jumper.
Yeah, it was Wilmot. See Harris Andrews had set up in front. We've seen tonight that Neil's been able to get on the smaller opponents. There you are, grab the jumper. Wilmot knows he's outside, trying to prevent Neil to get to the contest. Gives away the free kick.
Gee, they've done that well tonight. It's been a feature of their play, the forward 50 positioning of the key posts to deny Brisbane what they want.
6 touches, 1 goal, 1 for Neil. Saunters in. It's going to be tough for the Lions from here.
So it's all been about taking away the Lions' key defender in Harris Andrews, take away his intercept capability. Now, he may get there late to spoil, but as long as he's not intercept marking, you get another opportunity at worst. And just again, you can see as the ball comes down the ground here, their ability to separate and put Andrews in a position where the best he can do is spoil. So just watch how this organises itself from a Lions point of view. So Andrews wants to stay central. but Henry's trying to drag him wide. Now he's in a position of vulnerability, and the small man gives away the obvious free kick on the tall key post forward in Neil. It's a really good play.
A lot of big ticks for Geelong tonight, but this is one of the big ones coming up against a contender who they'll probably play again at some point this year, potentially in finals, and Shannon Neal gets the job done.
He's in the ruck now, Neil. Dangerfield, a rare chance at the centre bounce. Bailey Smith, possession 14 on a greasy night. Wilmot keeps it in front of himself. Fletcher, Ashcroft, Wilmot. Barrels a high ball forward. Humphreys, the jumper assisted design. He's having a good night and finds Myers.
Pickings that mark at the end. Myers, not the required. Manor forced to bunt it out to Smith. Smith's entry inside 50. Henry tries to slide for it. Worried out of it by Andrews. Free kick against Dangerfield, so Levi Ashcroft can exit defensive 50. Scoots the football along the wing. Curtin over the top. Wins the football for the Lions. Tunstall. Wobbly mung ball towards Morris. Good to see Morris back out there. And O'Connor just comes glancing through. And now the Cats can build via De Koning and Smith.
Chipping ball forward to Manor. Bailey Smith wants it back, delays it now, gives it to the number 3. He slides it inside. Dangerfield comes from the side. Henry at the back, fought, thrown.
Verdict paid. Will Ashcroft looking for an option. Marshall.
These are players look tired out there at the moment. The Cats off a 5-day break. The Lions off a 6-day break. Still humid out there whilst it's wet.
Ball down the line. Dropped by Holmes. Will Ashcroft, who's busily trying to lift his team. Atkins inboard to Neil in the middle. So Neil with full penetration on the kick. Cats with numbers here in the forward line. Cameron not quite. Fought by hand. Wilmot flicked it out. Back to Marshall. He's hemmed in. Looping ball to Reville. And they exit defensive 50 with Rayner.
The second goal of the Lions in the first term did Rayner. His head bandaged up from a cut earlier on to a big pack of players. Morris behind. O'Sullivan dropped his head. Humphreys always looks so calm and assured, the young man. Stewart, ditto, De Koning. Rayner cuts it off.
Dangerfield jumping over the pack there. He's trying to swallow Darcy Wilmot nearly with the way that tackle was happening. Free kick given away.
Blitzars makes sure he's at the front to flecked off his boot. Bailey, fought tumbling ball straight down the gullet of Stewart.
I think the thing that'll really concern Chris Fagan is that in the losses they've conceded 111, 104, 104, and tonight could be north of 120. They're big numbers you don't normally see kicked against the Brisbane Lions.
Barely the required. The Myers kick to Guthrie and now to Humphreys.
9 goal sixes come from this type of play as well, which I think you'd be worried about too, the way the Cats have been able to pick their defence apart.
Atkins, Bailey Smith takes some ground. Sends a shallow entry inside 50. Back with the flight close. Dangerfield with the socks pulled up as per. Sets a task to Blitzards. Agile for a big man. Back to Dangerfield with power. Now close. Kick the first goal.
At the airport today when you were flying up, Matt, that sort of gold you're coming up with?
You up, Mark?
We've done well to hold on to it to the fourth quarter, Matty.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to his next one, if that's what we're getting with 8 minutes to go.
He's a slow week at the Hill household if you come up with that
one. Draper pats it down. Holmes grabbed by Bailey and Will Ashcroft.
You got excited when we drove past Eagle Farm today, though.
Yeah, we off for Jacks.
No midweek races for you, Hilly, and you're just a touch distracted. Close.
They go again.
There is Marlon. He might be someone we could try and speak to post-game about his journey to the elite level of AFL football. Mullen. Coleman props over the top of it. Pressure's going to come and does. Close tried to get a little foot on it. Fletcher caught in a tackle.
That's just that forward footy again that we've seen with the Cats. When they've felt like it's been on the ground, they've needed to just knock it forward, keep putting the pressure, get it closer to their goals.
Leicester, Will Ashcroft, Cameron. With that acceleration that we love. Just through the fingertips of Morris, grabbed by Edwards, by hand to Humphreys. Edwards again, off a standing start in the Neil direction. Wilmot couldn't mark it, Neil grabbed it. Standing tackle, and a ball up.
Well, this is where they've got to be very careful because they've hunted hard at forward 50 stoppages.
Cameron, some electric goals this evening. Goes laterally to McKenna. Progresses the ball quickly to Morris. Looks to be moving okay with that knee bandaged up on the right. Drops the footy. Unusual play. And Fletcher's to the near side. Slippery conditions. Rain poured down in the third term. Rain for an hour before the game. It's the second player that's dropped the footy tonight alongside his teammate Dunkley.
15, play up.
Stewart's kick. Sullivan. Bruin. Strong kick in the Dangerfield direction, just a couple of steps behind Leicester and was forced to go the spoil.
A lot of players dropped the ball when they were going for set kicks, set shots at goals or uncontested marks tonight, Jack, which is rare.
And you just wonder whether, I mean, the artwork looks great on the footy, but it is a difference to what we normally see week in, week out. We've seen a couple of players drop it pretty much when they've been in their kicking stride to have a shot at goal.
Sticky hands this time from Morris. Kicked his 100th goal of his career tonight with his second. Fletcher stood underneath it, did well. Neil brought down from behind. He's had Mullen within touching distance all night, Lockie Neil.
Ollie Henry.
Lockie Neal's had 23 disposals, but he's been a non-factor tonight.
Humphreys launches it in long. Few cats at the fall of the floating football, and Neil earns himself a shot at goal.
Again, just in the background, you see Jack Henry running, Harris Andrews off the ball.
Yeah, it was Draper there as well. It was the man on Shannon Neal, and you could just see there, too big, too strong, wrong-footed him, but the protection is key. It gives you an easy chance to take a chest mark.
It's there, subtle block, take away the timing.
8 touches, 2 goals, 1 for Shannon Neal. Set shot is glancing to the left.
And you speak about the big fullback, Harris Andrews, for the Brisbane Lions. He's coming off his quietest game last week for 3 years as well. Just had the 5 disposals. Harry Mackay had a really big second half especially, but those 2 weeks in a row he's been pretty quiet.
Rayner stands underneath it. Spoil came from De Koning. Now Dempsey. Heard a voice behind him, which was Humphreys. Blitzarbs. Back after a couple of weeks with a knee. Bailey Smith. 19 disposals. Cameron just didn't get the bounce he was after. Curtin steamed in. Coleman. Cameron, clever tap to Rayner. Unloads, went for the barrel, didn't quite time it. McKenna tracks it back, and it's taken care of through from behind.
I appreciate where they're at the moment, Brisbane, but Cam Rayner can't be doing that. Trying to kick a torpedo when he had 2 players on his right-hand side to handball to. Open players that could run through 50.
I think we're going to have to reassess the Cats. This is a huge win. Not many come up here and get 4 points at the Gabba with such an emphatic mode of play. They've just taken it to them from clearance. The forward setup's been terrific. Dismantled Lockie Neal with Mullen, and we've talked a lot about Harris Andrews not being the same player due to the tagging by Jack Henry. An awesome performance.
Fletcher. Back to Andrews. Close. Sniffs an opportunity. Steams in towards Ashcroft, goes back by hand. Now Bailey. Mullen has had quite the night on Neil. Looks for an inside 50, and he's got Dangerfield. How many times has that statement been made in the last 15 to 20 years? We might have to reassess the Cats.
Yeah, it's spot on. Because it's really no longer about this man with the ball in his hands anymore. I mean, he's a bonus if he bobs up now. You're hoping you get an easy one. He's had to work pretty hard tonight for his... he's ended up with 15 touches, with 5 kicks. This will be his 6th kick. His 6th score involvement. And hopefully his 2nd goal for Paddy's sake. But it just looks like he's labouring a faction at the moment, so you'd love to see him get an easy goal.
He's the 6th player to play for the Cats after turning 36 years of age. Patrick Dangerfield. Junior, one of them, the only 2 for the century.
I think there's a conversation around where the Lions are at the moment too. This is 6 sort of poor quarters of footy. Second half against Carlton last week, and then tonight we've seen a small glimpse of them in the second quarter, but a lot of their players are down on form.
Bailey's kick to a contest. O'Connor scoops it up. Smith off the ground. Gives Atkins a chance. Pummels the handball. Dempsey, Atkins. Cats everywhere. Bruin.
Stand! Tanner! Come around, please.
Hasn't kicked a goal this year, Tanner Bruin. He's kicked 24 in his life.
Thank you.
If he kicks this one, it might be his best. A long way out on the paint.
See the poncho's well and truly out. Still a bit of light rain around. Bruin is going to prop it up in the square. Draper just nudged Neil out of it. Levi Ashcroft attempts to keep it in. It'll be thrown in.
Rush, thank you. Brisbane,
review.
Shannon.
Buckley and Scott. Dangerfield charges after it. Stripped in a great tackle. Not an easy thing to do to pull Paddy Dangerfield in. It was executed by Bailey. Reville gets run down from behind. Stewart there. And another possession, Edwards. O'Sullivan steps inside nicely. Not sure what to do. Just pops it up. And as far as Lockie Neal.
14 touches Lockie Neal tonight. Looks the kick towards McKenna. At the back, Stewart with some easy pickings. Dempsey Myers, back to Dempsey. Got Bruin hard up against the boundary line. Looks further inboard, little chip. Reville with the spoil. And through Mullen. And also Atkins, it's worked back to Bruin.
Clown forward, Clown! Hey, not 15, Clown!
So Bruin to Dangerfield in junk time now. Dangerfield floating, wobbly ball towards the top of the square. Andrews working hard as he always does. Bailey, Gardner, Andrews, Coleman. Gardner again. Hemmed in here, the Lions. Levi Ashcroft. And away they go. The Lions off half-back.
Levi goes slightly to the interior. Well supported in there by McKenna. Does well to keep it in front of himself. Little kick was a touch off target. Some tired footballers out there.
Stewart just pulled up a little bit sore from that last contest. See him in the back of screen there.
Comes out to Neil. Rayner grabs the football, arches the back, and heads for a consolation goal and misses. Out of the 46 that played on grand final day, 37 players are here tonight. What a result for the Lions here, for the Cats rather.
Yeah, and this could be a big story, Jack. Tom Stewart making his way from the field after you said he pulled up short.
In front of 29,221 who have been largely silenced by the powerful performance from the Cats. McCluggage run down from close. Got boot to ball. Atkins. Smith comes again. Manor with 5 leads the Cats to a reversal of grand final day. big statement. They knocked off the Pies last week, the Cats, and now 41-point winners over the reigning premiers. Cats led by 22 at quarter time, 12 at half time, 29 points at three-quarter time after Manor kicked 3 in 4 minutes. Ended up with 5 Sean Manor. In the end, it is a 41-point statement win to Geelong.
Yeah, 5-day turnaround, coming off arguably one of their best performances last week, and they've upped it again. So that's a really good fortnight of footy. Sean Manor was fantastic, 30 touches and 5 goals. He's really worked into this season nicely. Bailey Smith continues to do what he does, 34 and 2. So, I mean, I think the Cats would be absolutely thrilled to come up here and not right some wrongs from last year. No doubt there's some players that still look back on what happened on that last Saturday in September in 2025, but they'll be looking forward to this year, but a really solid performance.
Completely pulled apart. The Cats moved the ball with freedom out of the defensive half, smashed them from damage and clearance. It's been a legacy, a hallmark, a trademark of this midfield for the Brisbane Lions. So clean, so tough. They got embarrassed tonight, humbled in the midfield in terms of damage from clearance, not clearance numbers. 59 points to 28. You just don't see that against the Brisbane Lions. And then they were out-coached. I mean, the Harris Andrews role in the end allowed them to score freely. Another 17-goal cough up from the Brisbane Lions. There's some big numbers in amongst their losses this year, all 4 north of 100 points. You just don't see that. It just makes you wonder, are we starting to see some signs? It's really early and we're all reaching. But right now, they just didn't have the ability to go with the Cats. When they put the foot down in the first quarter and then in the second half, Manor got space. Stewart did what he wanted down back. As we said in the midfield, Smith just absolutely destroyed them with his overlap run. A perfect performance.
Alistair Lynch is on the ground. Come in, Lynchy.
Thanks, Harry. Here with the star of the show, Sean Manor. Congratulations, mate. A PB, 5 goals, 30 touches. You must be wrapped.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Never played at the Gabba, so that was pretty electric. But yeah, I think we spoke better all week. Like, what a class outfit they are, obviously, reigning premiers, and to come up here and actually take a big scalp is obviously good for our season. So yeah, we're pretty happy about that.
Looks like there was a fair bit of planning going into this match. Yeah, a team you've played a fair bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I started to say that pre-game that like we scout them for many years now and know how they play, but likewise for them, they know how we play. And I think when you come up against teams like that, it's weather's a bit different as well, so it changed a few things, but yeah, made us work for it though, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely, and a great contest, but you responded every time they challenged. Tell us a little bit about the planning around Harris Andrews and obviously the job that was done very well.
Yeah, incredible, wasn't it, Jack Henry? Yeah, that was James Riley, little one, I think. Yeah, I think it's just a different look, isn't it? The last few times he's gone to our key forwards, scratching Neil and Jez, and he's probably done a number on us, to be fair. So just to keep him accountable, and obviously Jack's the star down back, but changed it up, comes back in this week, and it's probably stiff not to kick a couple of goals, wasn't he? There's no soft drops, and that's what we are to our keys, and for him to come and do that, he might be a permanent forward now, so watch his space.
I think that they were struggling to get you out of the forward line. You must have loved it. You lit it up. What was it, 3 goals in about 4 minutes?
I'm not too sure. Jack Martin gave me one, so I was a bit dazed a bit there. But no, it's good fun. I think you just got to make the most of those times, isn't it? Like, not all the time you got to get it that clean. And I think Brian Wise gave me a nice clean one, so that's nice. But yeah, I think Royals will be happy. I think we won ground points top 50 this week, and I think we've been the best at that for the last few years. So to get back on top of that's obviously key to success. So that's good.
Tell us about, you said about the conditions, made for a few changes. How did you adapt?
I think it doesn't really bounce that much here, does it, at the Gabba? That's a Jason Ackermanis tip I seen this morning. He let me know about that, so that's nice. But I think at footy is that we can overcomplicate it when conditions go like this. You just try to get us to the front of the goals and soft drops on the forwards and kick him through. So not much really changed for us, just maybe get to the top square.
Well, congratulations on a great performance yourself. You were flying until you said Acker gave you tips, so that's the last we'll hear of that. Well done.
Thanks, Lucy. Appreciate it, mate.
30 disposals, 5 goals. Fair night.
Never been here.
First time he's played here.
I never knew that it didn't bounce as high here, but he obviously got the inside word from one of the locals in Jason Ackermanis. And another man that had a fantastic night tonight with 17 intercepts. is the Cats backman, Tom Stewart.
Thanks, Jack. Tom, that's a very good win. They challenged you on numerous occasions, but a great win in the end.
Yeah, it is, mate. It's probably the hardest place to come and play footy, to be honest with you. It wasn't too long ago when they did that to us, so it was nice to come up here off a short turnaround and put in a good performance.
You'd notice, not that you're in the midfield or the stoppages, but 9 goals fired from stoppages would be something the midfield would be wrapped, and you would have appreciated it, I'm sure.
Yeah, 100%. I think I didn't know that exact number, but we looked at it through the week, and that's one of their best scoring sources through CBs, and they get through the front, they play with penetration out of stoppage, so the boys around the footy were immense tonight. They put amazing pressure on them, then get some clean breakaways and some shots on goal. You take that as a back.
We were saying before, you play a pivotal role. At the other end, probably Brisbane's most important player is Harris Andrews. Ollie Henry's job on Harris's impact. Jack, sorry.
They look similar, mate. They look similar. He did, yeah. Jack's had a bit of an interrupted start to the year, and when the coaches came to him and said, look, you're willing to do it, that's what we love about Jack. He'll have a crack, and I think he did an exceptional job. I mean, I think Harris is the best defender in the league, and to nullify his impact in the intercept game, on a greasy night was exceptional for our team.
No, great performance. Importantly, how are you? Hamstring a bit tight there late?
Just a corky, mate, and old legs. Just wanted to get off for an extra 30 seconds rest. All good.
Very astute. Well done. Congratulations.
Thanks, Legend.
Well, that is good news for Cats fans if Tom Stewart is indeed A-OK, and they've sent a warning to the rest of the competition. That was an emphatic victory, a really strong start. Then they responded when challenged by the Brisbane Lions. A big flex in the end. Jason Dunstall, Lee Montagna. What do you make of that?
Comprehensive. I think that's clearly their best performance of the year. The Cats, they were superb. Came with a plan. They did it. They executed everything beautifully. Their matchups worked perfectly, and I don't think he could be any happier, Chris Scott, surely.
That was a complete performance, really, from the Geelong Footy Club. I mean, this had been coming. I mean, their last 5 wins now, and you look at 122 points is what they've kicked, 131 points, 135 points, 122 and 117 tonight, but no doubt this was the best opposition that they've faced in those 5 weeks. So they are powerful offensively. They are punishing teams, and it was impressive.
Into third spot, and they play the Swans next week. How good a game is that going to be?
That is going to be mouth-watering indeed. It's the twilight clash on Saturday down in Geelong at the same time, of course, as the Scott Pendlebury game. So won't know where to look, but you'll be able to catch it all on Fox Footy and KO. It is going to be one of the games of the year and a great challenge. So they get to challenge themselves against the benchmark in the reigning premiers. And then next up, against the Sydney Swans, who have been the leaders this season.
Absolutely. So it's going to be another great test to see who is the best team in the competition. We still thought coming into tonight, Brisbane are still the team to beat. Sydney are obviously the most informed team in the competition. A couple other sides we know are playing really well, but Geelong tonight have just let everyone know, as we said, that they are absolutely in this up to their eyeballs this year and been building. They've had some really comprehensive wins. Collingwood, I thought last week that win was powerful, but they took it to another level tonight against the better opposition, and they are just travelling beautifully. It's why Chris Scott's the best coach in the league and why this footy club have been so good for so long. They just continue to find ways to evolve and get better. We'll touch on a few of them a bit later on, but they've made a statement.
It's only 3 weeks ago. I'm not quite sure how they were going. And then, as you say, they warmed up on Collingwood last week and then just went bang tonight. So they are officially flying.
So many parts of their game are going well for them at the moment, and they were able to shut down the Brisbane Lions and many of their strengths. So it was a well-plotted, well-planned attack from the Cats coaching staff. We wait for them all to get in to sing the song. Here we go.
All right, there we go. The Cats got the job done. Music Cats King. They got it done. 17-15, 117, 11-10, 76, 32 scoring shots to 22. It was all the Cats. I tell you what, they got their game on their terms for 3.5 quarters. It was just one bit of a quarter that the Brisbane Lions got had their game running a little bit okay there. But definitely too strong. The Cats you're exactly right there. Look, it's going to be a good test next week for the Geelong Cats when they come up against Sydney Swans. The informed team against pretty much, look, they've got to be probably teams 1 and 2 in the comp at the moment, Sydney and Geelong. There's no doubting that. Of course, I think Brisbane were missing a couple of players there. Of course, Zorko down back, which holds their defensive line up really well. So he was sorely missed today, was Zorko. But I tell you what, the Cats, they didn't shirk the test in the final term. They kicked 3 goals, 4, and the Brisbane Lions just a 1 goal, 4 in that final term. It's going to be a good test next week, as I said, for the Catters. Of course, the Cats, well, they do play at home at GMHBA Stadium against the Sydney Swans. That takes place 4:15 p.m. next Saturday afternoon. And of course, for the Lions, well, I think they've got a little bit easier assignment. They're going to go to Engie Stadium in Sydney. They're going to play the GWS Giants. Brisbane versus the Giants next week. That's happening next Sunday, 12:30 p.m. A lunchtime game. So get your popcorn, your sandwiches, your coffee, sit down, relax, tune on in. To be honest, as long as we can stick with them, there's no shame in losing to them. The fact that we beat them this comprehensively is a huge. It's a good result. It's a good result. But the thing with the battle between good teams like this, whether it's Brisbane, Geelong, Hawthorn, Geelong, the games are always, you just never know. There's never going to be a clear-cut winner going into the game. You just got to wait and see what unfolds. Sometimes it can be close. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a spanking like this, but you're always going to get a good game with both teams giving it their all. And make no mistake, Brisbane didn't shirk the task. They gave it their best crack. And Geelong were just a little bit too good on the day overall. We'll have a look at the live ladder in just a moment. The goal scorers in today's game, though. Sean Manor, he kicked a handful. We go, tell you what, Deadeye Dick, it was 5 straight goals for Sean Manor. Maybe the 3 votes. Is it going to be him or, I don't know, Bailey Smith? We'll wait and see. Probably Sean Manor might get the votes. We'll have a look at his stats in a minute. Jeremy Cameron, a nice performance from him. 3 goals, 3. Dominance. It was very dominant. I thought they played their brand of football for probably three and a half quarters. I think the Brisbane Lions at one stage they got a bit of a run. I think it was after half time or quarter time. There it was. I think it was after quarter time. They came back here and brought the scores back level. I think this is when Brisbane had their little bit of a run. But after that period, it was just all the Cats dominating the game. Bailey Smith ended up with 2. Tell you what, Bailey Smith was absolutely fantastic today. He kicked 2 straight. Shannon Neal also with 2 with Oliver Henry. Singles to Mullen, Paddy Dangerfield, Brad Close. And that's it for the Cats. Of course, Brum Brum, Charlie Cameron for the King of the Jungle, the Brisbane Lions. $3 for him, for Charlie. Logan Morris, 2 goals, as I said. Logan Morris putting his 100th goal for his career in AFL. Well done to him. 2 goals, 2. Cam Rayner, the Bull, 1 goal, 3 for him. McKenna kicked 1 with Draper. Who else got 1? Well, Cody Curtin got 1. Zach Bailey, Levi Ashcroft. There you goal scorers. But Bailey Smith, there we go. He topped the table on the disposal count. You know what? I know Sean Manor got 35 goals, but I still think Bailey Smith will probably get the 3 votes here. Music Cats King, Eddie G, what do you reckon? You boys would have been watching it. I still think Bailey Smith probably is more than likely going to get the 3 votes. Sean Manor, 2. 34 touches, 21 kicks, 13 handballs, 3 marks, 11 tackles, 7 clearances and 2 goals to Bailey Smith. Well done. Tell you what, ring-a-ding-ding game. Next best and best for the Brisbane Lions was Darcy Wilmot, 31 touches, 22 kicks, 9 handballs, 7 marks, 3 tackles, 4 clearances. Did a good job. Sean Manor, the next one who could be quite easily best on ground. That's going to be a toss-up. 30 touches he had. Well done. 30 touches and 5 goals. 19 kicks at Compolda. 19 kicks, 11 handballs, 6 marks, 2 clearances. He had a great game as well. The first time he'd played up there at the Gabba, he was saying, and he certainly had a night to remember. Tanner Braun, 29. Tom Stewart was instrumental there for the Cats. Tell you what, he just took apart the Brisbane Lions, the opening quarter and a half. For the rest of the game, tell you what, he's just a statesman down back as Tom Stewart. 21 kicks, 7 handballs, 7 marks, a tackle and a clearance, but wow, he's good. Lachie Neale, a little bit quiet, even though he had 28 touches, not very impactful in today's game. He had 5 clearances, did Lachie Neale. Levi Ashcroft, well, the Ashcroft boys, not as impactful again, even though he had 28, Levi. Maxie Holmes, a little bit quieter last term, 26 touches for him, 5 clearances. Atkins, 26 and 4 clearances for him. Will Ashcroft, 24. Let's just roll on down. Oliver Dempsey, I liked the way he played. He darted and danced, and well, it was, unfortunately, he just kicked a couple of points, but still played a really good game. Cam Rayner, look, he tried his best out there for the Lions. He had 1 clearance, 17 touches, 1 goal, 3. He would have liked to have kicked him a little bit more. Hugh McCluggage, well, he didn't really have his normal pizzazz about him today. I'll say that for next week. Paddy Dangerfield, the old bull, Paddy Dangerfield, he gave it his all today. Look, he only had 16 touches. He kicked 1 goal, 1, just a 1 clearance, but he did a fair bit of the bullocking work out there today. And as I said, Jezza Cameron, 16 touches, 12 kicks, 3 goals, 3. He was good. Was Jezza. And of course, Charlie Brum Cameron, the 3 goals from the 12 kicks, had moments of brilliance out there and moments of quiet times. Mitch Edwards there for the Cats, 13 touches there. He had 25 hitouts, 2 clearances. Sam Draper, 13 touches, 24 hitouts, 2 clearances. So they were pretty tidy and equal there. I think they were the only 2, weren't they? I know Darcy Fort, 18 hitouts as well. Shannon Neal, 6 hitouts. There we go. That's about it for that. Hey, let's have a quick look at the team stats. Geelong versus Sydney next week. Big game. That's down at the Cattery. I tell you what, that's going to be a game that's going to go down to the wire. But it was 23 disposals in head for the Cats. Looking at some of the key aspects, inside 50s, whereas the scoring shots, there we go, 56 inside forward 50s on season average there for the Lions for their 21 scoring shots. They should need to do a little bit better than that. 66 for the Cats, above season average by about 18% there. 32 scoring shots, fantastic. As I said, nearly 1 scoring shot every 2 entries. They held their disposal efficiency pretty well throughout the game at 74.5%, going above their season average. The Brisbane Lions just a little bit under. We did have that drop of rain there, I think, in the 3rd term, which made the ball a little bit more slippery. Free kicks, not too much in it. Oh, look, I think the umpires umpired it pretty well today. It was 23-19, Brisbane's way by 4. But I didn't see anything that really assisted anyone with any scores on the board. So I thought that was pretty well umpired today. Well done to the umpires. We'll get them a pat on the back. Hitouts were +7 to Brisbane. The clearances were +10 to Brisbane. Most of that coming in the stoppages, though, which was 30 to 21 around the grounds. The centre clearances all pretty tight there, 15 to 14. Lions on top there by 1. There we go. Contested possessions, well, the Lions were +6 there. Uncontested, the Cats, through that controlling the ball in that 3rd term, got on top there by about 27 there. But the contested possessions, it was +6 to the Lions, so pretty tight there. Just looking at the marking, and you're marking inside forward 50. I wish this wouldn't keep loading, but there we go. It was +11 marks to the Cats, but the Lions had 2 more marks inside forward 50. 11-9 contested. Well, there we go. It was hard to do the contested mark today. It was 6-3, Cats by 3. And as we head down to the tackles, and as we said at 3/4 time, this is really one aspect of Brisbane's game they really do lack in. They really do need to fix up. 44 tackles. To me, for a really good side, that's extremely low. And again, they went under season average of 46.8. Of course, the Cats, 64. That's up around where they've got to do. They're putting the work in for the 4 quarters. They're going above season average. So that's really good for the Cats. I'd like to see at least them numbers. This is where all teams should be looking at, around these numbers, around the 60-plus tackles for the game. Tackles inside forward 50. Pretty good, 9-6. The Cats were +3 there when this loads back up. So there we go. There are your some of your stats. Let's just have a look at the live ladder for the opening game. After the opening game of round 10, of course, that's really good news for Geelong supporters out there. They go up into third position now. Third position does the Geelong Cats, 123.5%. They picked up about 5% odd in this game, which is really good because at one stage they were sitting on about 120. 28 points, sitting, equal second on the ladder. Sydney and Freo equal. I don't know why they call it Wally Up. Why don't they just keep it the original name which they came into the competition with, which was Fremantle? Let's stick to that instead of all these other bizarre names they put in there. I don't know why they do that. I know it's probably for Indigenous round, but at least keep the names the same. My gosh, people will get confused. People get confused. Keep it the same. There we go. Brisbane Lions, well, they dropped now. They dropped down to 6. We remembered seeing at half time, Brisbane Lions, if they were going to lose this game, they were going to be 5th, but Geelong put such a margin on them. Brisbane Lions lost about 5 or 6% in this game alone, which dropped them now under the Gold Coast Suns, which are now 1.9% ahead of them. So there we go. Sydney is going to be a fantastic effort for Geelong next week. Of course, first playing third as it stands at the moment. I know there's still, everyone else is still yet to play in this round. Brisbane Lions, they're going to play GWS next week. And of course, the Giants down there in 13th, they'll be looking for a victory this week and next week. But I tell you what, if you're a Geelong supporter, after 10 rounds, you got 7 wins and 3 losses on the board. You'd be pretty happy with a nice percentage there. All right, just looking at the games coming up for the rest of this round. Of course, Friday night football tomorrow night. We have Sydney taking on Collingwood at the MCG. Look, this is a game I'm predicting Sydney to win this game, and I think Sydney will win this probably by about 6 to 8 goals. Even being a Collingwood supporter, ADG, I'm getting in now saying Sydney was probably going to win this game. Collingwood have got those outs. Sydney are flying. They've got a lot of speed on the ball, so I think that might trouble the Pies as well. Also, Friday night football, but we'll cover the Collingwood-Sydney game. That we have the Gold Coast Suns and Port Adelaide. That's playing up there in Darwin. Of course, Saturday got some interesting games. Adelaide taking on North Melbourne at Adelaide Oval. I'll tell you what, that's a game where North Melbourne could just about get up and win that game. And really put Adelaide back in their box. Of course, Saturday afternoon, another ring-a-ding-ding game here. We've got Melbourne taking on Hawthorn at the MCG, 4:15 p.m. That's going to be a cracking game. Very, very interesting. And, of course, the game on Saturday night, which Carlton are going to be taking on the Western Bulldogs. Look, it's going to probably be another loss for Carlton. Although you never know with a new coach in or a new standby coach, of course, with Vossi not there anymore, you never know what's going to happen, folks. That rounds out Saturday. Sunday, we've got 3 games coming up. Of course, the big game there at the MCG, where you'd expect Essendon to topple Fremantle. Essendon taking on Fremantle at 1:10 p.m. Melbourne time. I think that's 11:10 Perth time at EG. But there we go. Essendon. Will they come back? Are they going to fight back to beat good old Freo? Look, you'd think not. You would expect Fremantle to win that game. And then you got St Kilda, Richmond. You'd think St Kilda will have a pretty soft win over the Tigers at Marvel Stadium. And then, of course, the last game of the round, West Coast versus the GWS Giants. I don't know why. The Perth sides, either Freo or West Coast, are normally one of the last games of the round. Not sure why. I think that just fits in with their timetables that suits everyone else. But some cracking games still to come, folks. Tell you what, correct. Go Freo. Yeah, look, I think Freo will win that. I tell you what, Freo would want to win. You just never know though with Essendon. Essendon can do some crazy things like, play pretty good football and come out and defeat sides. Like we saw prior to the Collingwood game, I think they played some pretty good footy back then. But Freo, this is a game where Freo needs to come down and get a little bit of practice on the MCG, because they well might be playing there come September at the MCG. You just never know. So they want to get some practice there and they want to do the job on there. But I tell you what, today's game was a cracking game. 2 quality sides in the Brisbane Lions and the Geelong Cats. Although Geelong were just way too good. Just had some of their star players just outperform the Brisbane Lions players. But tell you what, the Cats, I'll tell you what, it was a good margin by 41 points. They did extend their lead in that final term, which is always a happy sign if you're a Cats supporter. If you've got a fair margin at three-quarter time, you do want to see your team continue to extend and press all the way to the end. That's it. Don't take the foot off the pedal. Keep on going. Build that percentage. And I think that's where the class and the wisdom of the Geelong players, the Geelong team, and all throughout have that mentality. That's what makes good sides. And I guess when Brisbane can do that to sides, they do it as well. That's why it's always a great match between these two clubs. Of course, Geelong having the last laugh over the reigning premiers from last year. As you can see, the big smile on right here by the Cats, so you can see that they're smiling there. Anyway, hey, that's all we've got for this one today. Thanks for tuning in on the coverage. We did have the poll in there, by the way. 60% in the live chat on the coverage went for the Geelong Cats. Well done. And we did have a few Brisbane supporters in there as well, going for Brisbane. But there we go. What a game. It was fantastic. Got to love it. Thursday night footy. Friday night footy's coming up tomorrow night. Collingwood, Sydney. Sydney, Collingwood. Up there, I think it's at the SCG from memory. The SCG. 7:30pm Melbourne time. I think that's 5:30pm Perth time, your time, Addy. So you should be able to get home from work, get the hamburger and get a few chips, grab a Coke, sit back on the couch, settle on in. Come along to the broadcast, stick your KO on, you can watch it and have a comment. Music Cats King, I'm sure, will be popping in somewhere here as well. Thanks, Teddy, for hanging on in there, listening to the game with us. And Paul was in there. Good on you, Paul. The good old Maggies will be on tomorrow night, and that's where we'll be next time. Oh, my gosh. All right, folks. Hey, that's all I've got for this one. I'm going to have a coffee. I certainly need it. The voice is going. There we go. So really appreciate it. All right, folks, thanks again for jumping on in, listening on in. I appreciate it. So until next time, until tomorrow night, it's from me to you, ciao for now, and we'll see you at the next game.